SNA Live podcast, hosted by Three the Hard Way. This is for the culture. Black and Latinx. Where you at?
What's good, Cigar fam? It's your boy Seaway, and welcome to SNA Live, the show not just about cigars and cigar lounges, but life in general. Because if you're in a nice-ass cigar lounge with your peoples and only talking about cigars, then you missed the whole motherfucking point. We're recording live as always from Smoking Ashes Cigars and Haberdashery, the hottest cigar lounge in these United States. With me as always are my partners in crime, the GM and Leak. Say what's up to the people.
Yo, what's good?
What's going on, fam? Blessed to be here.
Today's episode is episode number 3 of season 3, entitled After the Whistle Blows.
Fast already.
We're going to be talking about life on the court. We're going to be talking about life after the court, after the spotlight is no longer on you. We're bringing back our segment, This Can't Be Life, and I can't wait to get into that one because I got a particular frustration that I need to vent.
You gonna let it
get it off your chest.
You gonna
get it
get
off your
that,
chest.
yeah.
We also ending the episode, with our segment, What You Rockin Wit, and let's see if Lee goes left this particular episode or if he stays on course. Let's see. And with that being said, as usual, cut your stick, light them up, and let's get it poppin'.
Welcome to SNA Live, a podcast like no other. Featuring Three the Hard Way. You want it? You got it. Yes. We are back, season 3, episode 3. After the Whistle Blows, where we take a dive into the highs and lows of being a star athlete, both when the lights are on and off. So you know what time it is. Right now, it's a perfect time to get your drink, get your seat, get your stick, and let's rock. The bop is getting so real now. Like, it is becoming almost second nature. Yeah. Where it's just so real.
As soon as that beat drop, you just don't even
That's
think about it.
It's so real right now.
Because it's in your soul. You never
yes,
think about
it is.
Not
Yes,
even,
it
you're not even
is.
conscious. So before we get into anything, we have to introduce the people to our special guest today, former UMass backcourt star, Mr. Charlton Clarke. Give it up.
Appreciate the love.
Yes.
Definitely.
June boy.
Our guys.
AKA June. Yeah, man. We're definitely gonna get into this whole after the whistle blows thing with respect to, like I said in the intro, life on the court, the highs and lows, and then when the spotlight is no longer on you, when it's after that whistle blows, after the limelight, after the fanfare, after nobody's checking for you with respect to you, knowing you as that basketball player. And I don't care what level you played at, it happens to everybody. That those people are only cheering you but for so long, regardless of what your professional sport is, whether it be basketball, football, I don't care if it's soccer, I don't care if it's cricket or badminton. There's gonna be a point where the crowd is no longer chanting your name, and it's about that life after the whistle blows, after that spotlight is gone. But as usual, before we get into our topics of this particular episode, we have to get into what we're smoking. And Leek, I'm gonna let you set it off, brother. What do you got this particular episode? What you puffing on?
I went with cigar. Usually I try to mix it up. Some cigars that I've had before, some I've never had. I've never had this. This is the Crown Heads CHC Series E, again by Crown Heads. Ryan fucking pumped this up like crazy, so I hope it doesn't disappoint. But again, it's the Crown Heads. This is made at the Pichardo factory in Nicaragua. Shouts out to Pichardo. We have his whole line here, and he hasn't disappointed yet.
One of my favorites.
He hasn't disappointed yet. Little background: the wrapper is Ecuadorian Habano Oscuro. It has a binder from different regions in Nicaragua, and the filler is from Jalapa. All the regions basically in Nicaragua. This is a real Nicaraguan right here.
It is, and it's a unique size too. If I'm not mistaken, it's a 54 by 6 sublime.
Yeah, okay.
It's a sublime, just like how the Coalition. I think we have another one that we carry in that size.
This is a popular size in here.
It's
Our members really like these sizes.
that's the highest I'd rather go with anything.
Yeah, I can't.
It's
I
right
can't-
above a Toro.
Exactly. I can't go any pause and a bit bigger than this, but this is definitely that size that all the members like.
We're not going to start that today.
We can get back.
Yeah, no, it can, man. No, but
So so just a little of the characteristics. It says it has like an oak and leather taste with like secondary like coffee and citrus. I don't know if you remember the flavors from when you had it, but
so I was telling you prior
you said,
to
you
when-
said it was very complex.
and you remember last night we were in here. I don't know if you heard me having a conversation with Ted, where Ted was
that's
like,
the
"Yo,"
one you gave Ted.
Yes, that he kept saying like he kept saying, "Yo, every time I think I have a pulse on it,
changing.
it
Yeah,
goes
changing.
somewhere else.
Yeah,
it goes
yeah.
somewhere else." And for me, that's what I like about a cigar. It's about an experience. We had this conversation before.
You don't want a boring cigar where it just sits there, it's the same smoke
I'd rather
throughout the
turn it
whole
out.
time. Yeah,
I'll turn it out.
Yeah, you want something that's going to change on you.
That thing is gonna go on a little ride. It
Okay.
takes you different places.
I'm
so
looking forward to it.
I'm a
Definitely.
fan of it.
All right,
Definitely.
what you got, Rob?
So I'm rocking with Dapper this week, another company that we
One of my
support heavily.
one of my
Yeah.
favorite companies.
Same here. You know, Dapper came out with this small batch, the Salvito, and I think this is the Lonsdale size they got.
Lonsdale, yes.
If you know Dapper cigars, they also make like Siempre and La Madrina and
Cuba.
El Borracho,
Borracho's my joint right
the
there.
Cuba as well, the Cubo as well.
Box press Borracho.
Yeah, so again, a great company that puts together a fantastic product. Their construction is amazing. The body on this so far is a little bit more than what I thought it would be for a Lonsdale. I thought it would be a little bit lighter. When it comes to the background on this, though, it's an Ecuadorian Habano wrapper.
Okay.
And it's got Connecticut broadleaf and Nicaraguan multiple, like yours, a multi-regional blend between Jalapa and
Yeah, all the
Esteli
different places, yep.
for the filler
Yep.
and the binder. So this here, again, for me, ideal size is usually a Toro. I am a Churchill guy too. So the Lonsdale kind of sits somewhere
Right
in
in
that
between.
same realm. So far, so good. Great burn, even burn, white ash, the cold leather on the cold drawer. Dope cigar so far, man. Again, I'm a little biased because I like all the other blends they come out with.
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
it'll kind of be like off for me to,
Yeah, try to compare it.
yeah. But it's definitely something that's worth the smoke so far. So we'll touch back later on it. And what are you smoking?
So
Hold on, Conway. We got to get our man in because you got to wrap up and go right into our title.
Yeah,
So
good
you,
point.
you
Good
probably
point.
you're gonna have to tell them.
That's what I was going to say
Yeah.
since I had the mic.
Please
So-
make sure.
So what we got, our friend Mr. Clark, June, smoking today. He's smoking the Chico's cigar CBD batch, the SNA special. That's
SNA
kind of
special.
that's the name on
what
it.
we call it.
Well, because I think we've sold more than anybody else has of it, so we get to name it, right? It's like that old saying, "If I lick it, it's mine." So that's hey, that's what this
That's
is.
what she said.
Exactly. So he's smoking the CBD blend. It's the Habano wrapper. It's got some, if I'm not saying mistaken, Criollo 98 binders, and it's got a he has multiple Dominican and Ecuadorian and Nicaraguan fillers. So the primary function of this cigar, though, that people don't see too often is that when they smoke a CBD cigar, it comes with the CBD usually sprayed onto the leaf as like a liquid. In this cigar, it's actually rolled in
Yeah.
through the process. So instead of having a dedicated filler, the filler is the CBD.
Yes.
And in this particular one, it's an ACDC strain of 100% THC free CBD. Great experience. I can't tell you. You guys can speak to it too. For
sure.
How many have we sold on top of that though? And no complaints.
No complaints at all.
Not even no
Never.
complaints. Our members hit us up in the chat like, "Yo, let me know when you re-up."
Yeah,
Because
June does that too on the side.
He does that.
I'll be there.
When he was coming, he's like, I'm there, but save me that CBD, son. Good. Save me that CBD.
Like you're saying, Conway, the member, it's something that's requested heavily.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's
tough,
a big-
tough to keep on the shelves. Definitely.
It kind of is. That's a good problem to have, man. So, June, you enjoy that throughout this process. Hopefully, you know what I mean, to keep you in the right mind. You know what I mean? While we
Mellow
go through
out.
this. Yeah.
That's what it's
Well,
about.
we had a convo. Obviously, we talking about sports, so you know, for everybody that knows CBD, the benefits of it,
The
is
therapeutic
obviously-
benefits,
Therapeutic
yeah.
is muscle aches and pain. So obviously, being a former basketball player, he said, you know, this right here, I need it. My knees is hurt, my back. You know what I'm saying? So
Absolutely.
don't fall asleep on us though.
No, especially in these chairs. These chairs will do it to you, too.
Don't fall asleep.
Yeah.
But with that being said, Conway, what are you smoking on this week?
So it's funny that you guys were describing your two cigars or whatever with the Nicaraguan blend, because that's exactly what's comprised in the binder and filler that I have. But I'm gonna start from the beginning. So I have the Illusion Cigares Privé. So
Sleeper.
it's a Mexican San Andreas wrapper, and you know I'm a Robusto dude. I've said it in plenty of other episodes. So I got my favorite size, pause, and we got the Mexican San Andreas
I was
wrapper,
drinking. I couldn't get him.
and we got the Nicaraguan Criollo and Criollo binder and long filler. So Rye, you had put me onto this about 2-3 weeks ago, I want to
Yep.
say, and it's weird because it just goes to show sometimes when you downplay your label that you put on the cigar, it might not catch your attention. This has been in the humidor for a minute, and we own the shop. I've looked over this countless times.
I did the same thing.
So I told you the same thing. The day I smoked it,
Yeah.
I literally sat in the humidor and I said, I'm in the humidor and I said, I'm going to grab something that I have like treated like a redheaded stepchild this whole time we've been
Exactly.
here.
Yeah.
And when I came across it, you had come in to the for your shift. I was halfway through,
Yeah.
and I think I told you right away. Once you walked through, I don't even think I let you get settled. I was like, "Yo,
Yeah.
you need to try this shit later if
This
you're gonna
shit
smoke."
here? This shit
This shit right here,
Yeah.
this shit here. But you know what it is, because I knew it would hit because of the size and the gauge on that. That's usually the go-to for you, but the
Yeah.
blend on it is where it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Once I found out it was San Andreas wrapper, you know that was a go-to
Yeah,
of ours. So I mean,
Yeah, man.
it was something to hit on. I told you too right away. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you got to try this.
Yeah.
I had
Amazing.
it. Enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Definitely.
And
A shocker.
yeah,
and
definitely.
I think
sleeper.
I think I was only smoking that day and I didn't have a drink.
Yeah,
So this is my
it was just
first time-
water.
Yeah, this was my first time having it paired with something. So actually, you know what? That's a perfect segue. I think I'm gonna let you talk about what we're sipping on.
Yes, so we are sipping on the 14-year aged Balvenie Caribbean cask. So, quick little story on this. So everybody knows I'm not a big Scotch guy. So I think it was 7, 8 years ago. Conway comes to my house, and I don't know if it was my housewarming when I first moved out here. My
No, it was a
birthday.
barbecue. It was a barbecue.
It was a regular barbecue.
No, it was your birthday.
It was my
in May.
birthday. Yes,
Yeah, I
yes, it
remember.
was in
Yeah.
May. So, I'm like, all right, Conway brings it through. He's like, oh, I got this for you. I'm like, all right, it looks fancy, but in my head, I'm like, damn, I don't fucking Scotch like that. I'm like, all right, I tried it. Hooked ever since.
Really?
To this day, that's probably the only Scotch. No, I've had maybe one or two on the show that we've had, but that's my go-to right now. So that actually was in my house. That was just sitting, chilling. I said, you know what, I'm gonna bring this out for this episode. But really good Scotch. Again, Balvenie just overall is just fucking awesome. They make some really good Scotch. Again, like I said, I'm not a big Scotch person, but you give me a Balvenie, yes, please. I'll take it. Some of the tasting notes, just to put it out there, has like a vanilla, sweet oak, some fruit flavors, but for the most part, I think vanilla and the sweet oak is
Yeah.
kind of in the forefront, right?
Yeah,
You agree?
definitely.
It's definitely,
Yeah,
definitely there.
definitely. So, I'm going to enjoy this, man. Definitely.
And the crazy part is, like, kind of going along with your cigars that you're smoking. So you had mentioned oak, and I think both your cigars. This has
That's why I grabbed this, too.
and oak. It has oak notes with coffee and spice, so it's just going perfect with the Caribbean cask. It's just so fucking lovely, so lovely.
I will say this: I just retrohaled on the first third of this.
Yeah.
This got a little bit of punch, and that's why primarily the gauge is important for me. Primarily when I smoke, because when you retrohale June, when you actually just draw in the smoke, you let it go out your nose, so like you can taste all kinds of craziness to the actual cigar. It's not for the faint of heart, man.
Yeah. You got a member that tries to do it. He chokes every time he tries to do it.
Really?
Yeah,
We're trying to teach him. He can't
straight
do it.
off and Annie crying. The tears is blowing.
It's not for everybody.
Yeah.
It's not like you got to be in the game for a little while to do it.
But it really allows you to get all the nuances. So
Yeah.
I know you sometimes, if you're not a big cigar guy, you hear us saying all these different flavors and notes.
Right.
You're like, how the fuck? Retrohaling, try that one. You're going to be like, oh, all right, I get it now. 'Cause obviously it's the senses, in your nose cavity. So you're picking up all the different senses in the cigar. Again, everybody can't do it.
No, you got to practice.
Yeah.
And that leads into something that we were talking about today.
Practice.
Practice.
Practice?
What? Practice?
Who does that?
So before the court, you got to practice, obviously. But all right, so let's get into it. Our first topic. So life on the court. So just to give background, like I said in the intro, former UMass backcourt star. So obviously UMass D1 school, Division I school for those that don't watch sports. In the era that you played at UMass, because UMass doesn't exactly ring bells nowadays.
Not now.
Not now.
But back in the era that you played, and so just give people the background. We're all around the same age. Everybody here is about a year or two removed from each other. Everybody's 78, 79, 80, 81, around there. So the era that we're talking about, UMass, and was Calipari there?
Calipari was my coach.
Yeah, exactly.
Real quick, not to cut you off. Before we get into that, go into a little bit more further back, because I think that's
I was going to get into that. I was just trying to give people like the intro.
So he was just giving a character drop on a little bit of June's profile,
just so people know who we're talking to and how it's valid that we even.
No. I wanted him to go back into his history even before.
No, he's gonna talk. He's gonna have the mic. He's gonna have the mic because
I'm gonna get to it.
At the end of the day, you know what I mean. If you were a big New York City basketball fan back in the day, and they talk about the '90s, your young man also played for St. Raymond's as well as you, Malik, and Gauchos and stuff. So those were names that rang bells in New York City basketball.
And if you're a New Yorker and you even remotely know about basketball, the name Gauchos should just resonate right off the bat.
Yeah,
so you know what? I'm gonna shut the fuck up and let our guests.
It's not that I want to. I think it just sets the precedent for him to go back, because UMass is the end goal. Let's start from where does it start from?
Yeah, but I just wanted to kind of, like I said, just let them know kind of. Because if you're not from the New York area, you know what I mean? Gauchos, St. Ray's.
It's true. It doesn't ring. It doesn't resonate.
But UMass was national, and in the era we're talking about, they were not only just top 25,
all the way up.
College basketball was just
number one in the nation at the time. Yeah, exactly. At different points in the season. So, like I said, I'm gonna shut the fuck up. And Mr. Clarke, please regale us with the tales of just the come up before UMass even happens.
Right.
Like the come up in terms of playing initially, and how you got on that path to end up at UMass.
Yeah.
So I definitely appreciate the platform and the time that you guys have given me in order to tell this type of story. Just a young kid from the Bronx, right? Grew up Kingsbridge, Fordham Road area.
Yeah.
With ambitions to just play sports.
Number 9 bus.
Number 9, the 3, you name it, right? The 4 train, the D train,
D train.
We had to go walk to take the 1 and the 9 train
all the way down to Marble Hill to go get on that train.
That was a far ass
just a young kid from the Bronx, dreams of playing sports, and as we get deep into it, you're going to see how my life shaped and formed based off of the era that I lived in, right? The old heads raised us. We was outside. There was much respect. And I tell the story all the time.
Different era, definitely.
It's different era now because...
You use the word outside. Like, that's...
Our kids aren't allowed to go outside right now because of what's going on these streets.
I
So
don't even know what outside is.
We're going to get into that, too, right? So, young kid, family from Jamaica, grew up around...
Wagwan.
Done knew already. Grew up around a bunch of old heads who was outside, and they made sure they saw the potential in me to do something bigger and better. So it's kind of like let's make sure we steer this young man into the right direction to do different things. Right? Lived on the first floor in the building. I started playing on the fire escapes. That was
throwback.
that was my court until I was old enough to go to the main court, which was a block up. Right, ringing the fire escapes, trying to dunk everything.
We talk about now. When we talk about fire escapes, you talking about
the ladder.
The ladder. See, so if you don't know about the building, see, of course, because real talk, that's kind of what we all played off of. Man. It was either that or what else? I mean, for me, it was the milk crates.
Milk
crate. You nail them into the lamppost.
Bro, whatever we could do
to the string tied around the fence. You name it, we did it all, right? So from playing basketball on the fire escapes to when I wanted to be a baseball player, somebody's garage door became the strike zone that we used, right? The middle of the street was our football field, running into people's cars, trying to dodge and run post patterns into the corner. If you hit the sidewalk or the curb, you out of bounds.
That's something that's funny, man. That shit there changed the career projection for a lot of guys who thought they was cut out to play. When you play street ball, it was different. They ain't no we didn't grow up with grass, people.
No, concrete jungle.
You said the out of bounds lines were the cars and the touchdowns were the manhole covers.
Yes. So you gotta run out routes and potholes. You name it.
Go to the Toyota Camry and go out.
Exactly. That was our plays, right?
Facts.
So, just growing up in the Bronx and doing these different things, I wanted to play all sports.
So the focus wasn't just basketball. From
The focus wasn't basketball. Actually, I was a better baseball player than I was a basketball player.
It's a story for a lot of us. Yeah, it's crazy, bro.
I went to Japan when I was 12 to play baseball
Yes,
on the
sir.
USA team. I got selected out of 500 kids. Got selected the best 10 for 12-year-olds.
What position were you at that point in time?
I was just out, happy to be out there. Pitcher, hate catching. Pitcher, shortstop, first base.
That was mine.
Outfield, you name it.
Dude, you play
That was my
Kingsbridge?
thing. I was Kingsbridge Little
I
League.
know, so we throwing it back right now.
Yes, indeed.
It was some Kingsbridge Little League alumni over here.
Definitely. So, basketball became my thing. So I started playing with the older guys. Once again, they used to throw my ball over the gate. Can't play, shorty.
Yeah,
I used to go get the ball out the middle of the street, come back to the court, and after a while, it was kind of like, oh, we don't have a ball to play with. Let's play with shorty ball. In order for you to play with shorty's ball, shorty got to play.
Exactly.
Right?
Facts, facts.
So I credit that because I learned how to play. When you're playing with older kids, you ain't the man. You're just another body on the court, right?
Yeah.
We're really using you for your basketball, so you're just another body on the court. So I had to learn how to adapt to play with older kids, and once again, they had to gain trust in me in order to let me play. So it was kind of like learn how to pass. You better learn how to play some defense. Get somebody the basketball when they're open. So I learned all that stuff first before I started working on my own craft. When I started playing with kids my age, it became too easy for me because I was always used to playing with
the
older
older
guys.
guys, yeah.
Right? And I think a lot of kids nowadays don't have that opportunity because these streets are so messed up.
That's true. That's actually a really good point.
Yeah.
That's really true.
Listen, I've been a principal. Now I'm a program director at a Boys and Girls Club, and I keep preaching this story to families and to kids to let them understand your time is different right now. When I train kids in basketball, I talk to the parents and I'm like, your time is different right now because the era is different. I was allowed to go outside and make these mistakes with the older guys. These young guys ain't allowed to do that right now.
Not
Right?
at all.
You make a mistake,
That leash is short.
your parents is coming to defend you.
Yes.
You shut up, don't talk. Let me do all the talking.
Yeah.
So these kids don't really know how to navigate and defend themselves.
Because their parents are all mini agents. We've had that conversation here when we did access and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm gonna lean into that
We
too.
just had that combo over there.
They're all mini agents, man. They're already brokering their fucking their pro contract already at the age of 10.
And if you're talking about after the whistle blows, a lot of the people who are affected and struggling right now, their parents actually did that.
And they're the one facts, and they're the ones that didn't have their career head off, so they're living vicariously through their
Through
children.
the kids, yep.
This is a repetitive system.
We're going to get into all of that. So, at the time, single mom, 2 siblings, besides myself. I wanted to play basketball. I was good. I was playing with the older guys, and my guy Orlando Antigua, who's now the assistant coach at Kentucky University, lived in the neighborhood. He lived by Talentine, and he used to play with the Gauchos.
Ask you that question, yo. How good would Talentine have been had they not shut down?
Oh my God!
Because that was our neighborhood.
Yeah.
They had
Talentine.
Kareem was there too, right? Right before
Kareem
he
was
left.
there. Yep. But when they shut down, that's when Kareem came to St.
St. Reed,
Kareem
yep.
Reed. Shout out to Kareem Reed.
Talentine would have been, and there was
Nothing to talk about. There's nothing to talk
all
about.
right.
Malik Sealy was there.
yeah. Malik was there.
Adrian Autry.
Yeah, man.
Ryan Reese. They had a crew.
Yeah.
They had a crew. And the year that they closed down, the freshman team
That was-
and the JV team won the championship.
Yo, how
And
crazy is that, bro?
They were stacked.
Where were you at age-wise during that time?
I was in 143. I was in
7th, 8th grade, though, right?
8th grade.
Yeah, I figured that.
I was in
Because
7th,
Lee
8th
was a
grade.
little older than us.
Yeah,
remembering.
so I think I had a story with that. My mom used to be the secretary at Talentine High School. So she used to call Malik. She was the one that used to wake him up, get him, like, she saved him so much. He was so close to us. So Malik used to carry me around the hallways in Talentine High School. I was like 5, 6 years old. A kid running around there. So I knew what Talentine was, and when it shut down, it was a culture shock.
Yeah.
And it was known for its basketball,
That's what
primarily.
that's
all it was.
John Sarandria was the head coach at the time. He's the one, he was a former firefighter and stuff, but he had taken that team multiple places. But just because you mentioned the Talentine when you mentioned Orlando, I was just like, damn, 'cause that's another name that would have been tied directly to Talentine as well.
He lived right across the street.
That's
He lived right across the street.
Was he on Andrews or on University?
Andrews.
So he literally lived across the street.
He was literally across the street. So once again, Orlando went to 143. The buzz in the area was, we got a young kid out here. He's playing ball. And they told Orlando. Orlando was like, okay, one day I'm gonna come around the way, pick him up, I wanted to go try out at the Gauchos. I had just came back from Jamaica, probably not even a day away from Jamaica. Had no shorts because I never played organized basketball before. So I had
How old are you at this point?
7th, 8th grade, right?
No, actually, I was 11.
11, yeah.
So you're in like 6th grade, 5th, 6th grade.
I was 11 years old. 6th grade. I was 11 years old. Had no basketball shorts. Never really played the game. Once again, my basketball court was the fire escapes.
Yeah.
So I came outside. Yo, we going to this gym. Okay. Just came back from Jamaica, so I barely unpacked. Had some pineapple shorts on, and a fishnet tank top.
Oh,
real Jamaican.
Yes.
Real Jamaican.
Whoa.
I was
Rude
looking
boy.
like
Young-
white?
Young rude boy.
Red.
Yellow.
It was red.
red, looking like Shabba Ranks and Movado all together, right?
Young rude boy.
Oh,
So
shit.
he took me down there to the gym. We ended up being late for my age group. Once again, I'm 11. When I got there, the 16-year-olds were playing.
Ooh,
So it's kind of like,
fuck it, gotta get him out
yo,
there.
I got this young kid. Let's throw him out there. You know, I don't know no better. I just want to play basketball.
Yeah.
They threw me out there. Did all right. Got my ass kicked, but I did all right. I held my own, right? After it was all said and done, Coach Dave Jones, Dave McCullough, Julius Dees is there, all the coaches that was at the Gauchos at the time. And he was like, how old are you? I'm like, I'm 11. Get the fuck out
of
my
here.
gym, XYZ. Now, I'm new. I don't know nothing about this basketball world. So I start crying. 11 years old.
Of course, there's a lot going on right there.
Feelings is hurt.
You just landed.
And it's
Just-
adults yelling at you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
You don't know me from a hole in the
Stranger,
wall.
stranger
right?
yelling at
Facts.
you.
yeah.
So I'm crying and I'm putting my clothes on. So Orlando, I guess, was talking to whoever's in the offices upstairs or whatever, and then he came downstairs and he asked coaches like, "Yo, how did he do?" He was like, "Yeah, he did very well, but he's not fucking 11. Like, I hate liars."
Yeah.
So I told him to get his shit and get the fuck out of my gym. So I'm there packing my stuff up and getting dressed, and he's like, "Nah, he's the young one that I was telling you about." He's the young one I was telling you about. So they was like, "What?"
That motherfucker ain't 11.
Just like that.
Yeah.
No lie. So they was like, "Call your mother right now."
Yeah.
So, Jamaican mother, I call my mother. Mom. And she hears me crying. So the first thing
Defense.
a mother's gonna do,
Straight defense.
Who got a stab?
Yeah.
What go on now?
so she about to call all the uncles and the cousins.
Yeah,
Everybody's
yeah,
about
it's
to come
go
down
down.
there with
Machete's about to,
machetes.
yeah, exactly. Machete's
White
about
boy
to come out.
Hacha's about to be dead. Screw
White boy Hacha.
So my mother don't play. So my mother's like,
What a throwback.
where are you at? And I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm at this gym, Ma. Could you please just let them know how old I am? Because they think I'm lying. So I put my mother on the phone. The first thing I hear, the mother on speakerphone, if you touch my fucking son, I'm coming down there to kill everybody. Every bumble cloud body.
I
So,
love it.
so he's like, no. We just want to know his age. Because kids come in here and lie all the time just
Yeah.
to make this
They
team.
definitely did.
This is how prestigious the Gauchos and the
Yeah.
Riversides
Yeah.
were,
Facts.
right? You had 1,000 kids coming to try out for 2 spots.
Yeah, no, it's true.
You know what I mean? So I didn't know this at the time. Once again, this is new to me.
Yeah.
So my mother's like, no, my son is really 11.
Yeah.
His birthday's August 24th. Now I have a late birth according to AAU terms at the time. You lying. It went as far as one of the coaches putting us in the car and driving us home. Because then he was like, I want to see his
Birth certificate. Facts.
Yeah.
So my mother's waiting at the door, stepping like ready. Uncle's on deck. Everybody's on deck.
The building is on red alert.
Yo, and it was crazy. So she's like, you okay? You okay? I'm like, yes, I am. Just show him that I'm 11.
Yeah.
He saw the birth certificate and he was like, I struggled. I found one, right? Because usually in this basketball realm, everybody knows everybody.
Yeah.
For you to find somebody who can actually play,
Like a hidden gem.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's what I was to them at that point, right?
Yeah.
You was a
A
big ass
hidden
11.
gem.
You was a big ass
I
young
was,
kid.
I was LeBron before
Yeah,
LeBron.
you was baby LeBron.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's a fact.
all that curry goat oxtail and rice and peas, like I was solid.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
a solid kid. And I played football and I played the other sports, but they was like, yo, we got one. Tomorrow, make sure you at the gym at XYZ amount of time. So I'm like, okay, cool. Mom, is that okay? She was like, if they make you cry one more time, you're never going back down. So that's how the story really started, right? I went down there the next day, and it was just me in the gym working out. They had newspaper reporters there, XYZ. I still have the article to this day in the house. Ross Strickland was a rookie on the Knicks
at that time.
Yep.
on the Knicks
The
at the
Knicks,
time.
yeah.
He's a former Gaucho.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget it. Every time I see Rod Strickland to this day,
Another,
like,
another
"Yo,
Bronx
Rod,
native.
do you remember?" And he's kind of like, "I know who you are." And I'm like, "You gave me your first pair of sneakers. You gave me the Adidas, the pumps before they came out.
Oh, okay.
My first pair of basketball sneakers.
crazy.
And when I say I didn't have him sign it, once again, I'm culture shock. I'm just kind of like, thank you so much. And
You just happy to be there at
just
that
happy
time.
to be
Yeah.
there. And me and him, he's shooting jump shots. I'm rebounding for him. He made me shoot jump shots. He's rebounding for me, and I'm kind of like,
Is this happening?
like, I don't know what.
I don't know what it is.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
So that was my first experience with the whole thing, and then ever since then, it just kind of skyrocketed and took off. Right. Parents being involved. My mother, like I said, there's 2 other siblings at home, so she couldn't come with me to every game. It was kind of like, I trust you. Get on the train. Go where you got to go. When you get there, call me and let me know you're safe.
Yeah.
And that was it. Other than that, and I say that to say this, a lot of the stuff that's happening now, parents are way too involved because parents are trying to broker deals. Parents are trying to use their leverage and use their voice to put their kid in a better position instead of letting the kid grind it out
Yes.
and get to where you get based off of your grind.
You're married. Yep.
You see what I'm saying? And just thinking about it and going back through the whole thing, my mother didn't really know that I was a quote-unquote basketball star until I was a sophomore in high school. She didn't know, right? When it was time to make a decision to go to high school, I just knew I didn't want to get on the train. I'd rather just take the bus. There's a couple of my guys in the neighborhood who were from St. Raymond's, who went to St. Raymond's.
22 bus.
And I was like, you know what? It's easier for me to take the bus than to go take on the train, right? I wasn't a Harlem kid. I'm sitting here and tell you that wasn't me. The Gaucho gym was the furthest I went.
And that was going out. Like
was
out of your way.
out of the
'Cause,
way.
As far as public transportation
Yeah, yeah,
wise, to get there, it wasn't just the easiest
you know what
thing.
the funny part is? Just like real quick, people that are not from New York don't understand that. Cause like Harlem and the Bronx are right next to each other. Yeah, Harlem is a different animal. Yo, news is different.
And we're talking about a different generation too, the time frame.
Exactly. I'm not even saying necessarily in a negative way.
No,
I'm
right.
just saying like different animal. Completely different.
What was
animal.
crazy about Gauchos is people came from all over New York City just to play.
Facts.
with
Oh,
us.
yeah.
And not even just New York. I think New York City. I think people traveled from everywhere.
Yeah.
That's in the damn near
at
tri-state
the
area.
time I
to
lived
try
in
to get
Yonkers
there.
at the time. I was fucking
That's my point.
tracking, all the way from Yonkers.
So you come from the sixth borough. I
Yeah.
can guarantee people came from upstate Connecticut,
Yeah.
Jersey.
Yeah, we had kids from Connecticut, all that shit.
Yeah.
You
So,
can
June,
imagine that.
Let me ask you something. So you're talking about your mother didn't realize you was kind of a quote unquote basketball star until sophomore year of high school. When did it click for you that you realized like, oh, okay, like I can really do this? Like I'm actually kind of nice. Like when did it click for you?
When I was 11, when I went to that gym.
Against the 16-year-olds and you held your own.
I held my own,
Yeah,
right?
this is it.
So from there, it was just fuel. Like you had a untamed dog that you started to tame, who started to understand, like, it's either kill or be killed. And that was a mentality that was, I was bred that way, right? Then it was kind of like when I came home, because I was playing with the older guys, I had to fend for myself.
Always fighting, always on defense.
Right, and then after a while, I started getting better than the older guys. So then it just kept, I just kept sharpening the tool, sharpening. And then playing at the Gaucho gym is kind of like, now you play, now recognition comes. Then you had Hoop Scoop. Right?
Wow.
Hoop Scoop was the magazine.
Yeah, wow.
Everybody can go and see what was going on, right?
Ratings and all that stuff. Yeah.
And at the time, the ratings meant something.
Yeah, that was big.
Yeah, it was a legit, like the source
It's
back in the day.
Absolutely.
With his mics.
right? And it still means something to this day. But for me, it was a hit list. Where you put me, heard you.
Whoever's
Everybody
above me.
who's above me,
Going after you. Yeah.
Before that game, you look at that and see if you was playing against somebody on there. I'm getting at him.
Yeah.
I'm
And
getting at him.
It was personal.
Oh, he's ranked ahead of me. I'm getting at him.
And even if it was my right hand man, like it was Ryan, even though we're boys, because you're ahead of me,
On the courts, there's something different.
it's something
Going at you.
totally different.
Going at you.
something
Facts.
totally different, right? So a lot of the guys that played with me on the Gaucho team was ranked as well too, right? Gary Saunders, my guy that went to
Saunders.
Rice, went to Georgia Tech, went
Throwback
to
right
Seton
there for me.
Hall.
She saw this get buckets.
He was everything. He was like Glenn Robinson. He can,
At Purdue.
Yeah.
Yeah, Purdue.
he did everything. And actually, my coach at Our Ladies of Angels, took me to go watch a game for the first time.
I forgot you went to Orlando. Yo, me and this dude is tied in so many ways right now. That's so crazy.
He took me to go see a game, and the Gauchos was playing, and Gary was playing, and it must have been. Gary was 10 at the time, 10 years old. When I say Gary Saunders left that gym with 15 trophies,
shit,
15. I bullshit you not. 15 trophies.
Okay.
MVP. Highest scorer in the league.
Yeah.
Highest rebound in the league. Playoff MVP. First place trophy. This, that, you name it.
Whatever the categories were, he took them home.
Defensive player.
Ran the
This,
table.
that.
Yeah.
He was Harlem. He's Harlem, right?
All day Harlem.
Yeah.
All day. But once again, Gary was so skilled because he was at the Gaucho since he was 5-6 years old.
That's a huge advantage in that time.
You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And me just starting off at
Diving
11.
in the rough, yeah.
At 11, they kind of was like, yo, this kid can go. Where the hell he come from?
Yeah.
That was like, now you're ours. We don't want you playing with nobody else. You got to make sure you're here and put me on the map. So it was kind of like, let me see who's in front of me, learn from them, and hone my skills. And that's what it was, right? It was the dog, it was the hunger. The fact that people were ahead of me was my fuel and my fire.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Let me ask you a question, June. That was self-taught?
It definitely was. Because, once again, Mom wasn't into it. But once again,
It came from the block, too, though.
That's
Just from the block.
that's the reason why I wanted him to touch on that, because we all share off camera and off mic conversations, especially with the training with you nowadays, and you could see that with kids nowadays that mentality isn't naturally instilled.
Nope.
It's something that they either have to be trained to have it resonate.
It's very rare. It's very rare. I think that you have comfortable. When I say comfortable, I mean like financially and home life comfortable kids have that hunger. It's very rare.
It's tough.
Like Kobe Bryant is like one of those dudes where it's like his father was in the NBA. He grew up in Italy.
Yeah, he had that. He had that around.
He was very comfortable, but he was very comfortable though. Like he never was.
The point is that he didn't have to do anything really. He was good regardless.
Exactly. That's my point. So it's very, and he's the odd one out. He's the anomaly. It's very rare that you have a dude that grows up like that, that has that hunger, that killer instinct. You know what I'm saying? It's usually
nowadays they're just heavily trained.
Quick little story on what you just pointed out. So when I came, again, I was coming from Yonkers. I went to Gauchos my first day. So he told the story how he came there and the big dudes he was that dude for me. I don't know if you remember the story. Me and Vaughn, it was our first day. And I think I was like 12, so you must have been like 13, 14. And we playing, and he was just fucking with it. He's like, fuck yeah, y'all niggas is soft. Y'all soft. What's wrong? Come on, get like he was just getting on. Like I didn't cry, but I was almost like, God damn, like this is what the fuck I got. Yo, and he was just on us. But that instilled the toughness, because I didn't know that tough, hard nosed part of the basketball when I came there. And you did that for me and Vaughn. You know what I'm saying? Like he was on us, like, yo, we going up for hitting us. Get up. You know what I mean? Like he just instilled that. So again, you passed on what you got from when you first got there, and you passed it on, man.
June was brutal.
Yo, he was a big ass 14 year old. I thought he was fucking in college.
It wasn't even his size. It wasn't his size. You know what's funny about June? June's demeanor, was more. And what's crazy was, you knew he was crazy in a way because if you knew him off. I was gonna say when he stepped on that court, he was a whole nother person. He became a whole animal. It was kind of that Mamba mentality back then, bro. It was. And then you get off and he's fucking all jokes and smiles. When he got on that court, it was fucking it's time. That's what. And again, like I said, if you knew the both sides of you, brother, watching you throughout your growth process, it was crazy. Cause like, yo, this dude was laid back, bugging out. When he on the court, like he was an animal. But he was an animal back then with y'all too. Like you said, he had taken that experience with him. And he used that as a tool, if I'm not mistaken, cut me off, but you use that as a tool for you to teach the young guys to humble themselves too, the same way you were humble? Absolutely. I mean, listen, I call it the Kaiser Soze effect. Right? Kaiser Soze. And you're on the court, you got to be one way. When you're off the court, be you, right? And that goes into the, when the whistle stops as well. A lot of people don't figure out who they are until after that whistle does stop. And then when you face reality, you don't want to really face reality. I was the same person, right? And I could say that about you too. You've always been the same dude. I try to, once again, man, I live off respect, humble as I possibly could be. But once again, I knew what it took in order to make sure I succeeded on the court. And I also knew that off the court, right? I had some great people in my life.
who given me a lot of guidance. But at the same token, I never wavered from who I was. I stayed the same person, right? Somebody told me, every time you're in a room, make sure you stand out in a room. A lot of people don't understand that.
Yeah.
Right?
Elaborate, please.
Standing out doesn't mean you're the loudest person in the room.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? You can be the person with the biggest smile. You can be the person that wants to meet everybody to get to know what everybody else in the room does, right? Making sure you're in the front of the room was a lot, right? Because once you're a star and you start playing basketball, usually the stars want to sit in the back, laugh, joke around, and goof off.
Where I play the room.
When I was taught, make sure you're in the front, because somebody better remember who you are and remember your name and your face.
I hope y'all listening to that. Like, again, that there, listen, and that
That's
shit
just for
goes
life.
beyond.
Yeah.
That
That's
goes
just for
beyond
life.
sports. That jewel right there is so fucking on point right there. And the one thing I want to touch on too, I want to ask you, and because it's still a lot of kids out there that still live in the same environment. How hard was it when you started rising? And when I mean rising, when your name started getting around and people recognize you, especially when local people recognize you. How hard was it to separate the idea of being in the hood, being around everyone who still wanted to boost you up in the hood, and then having to maintain their relationships while you stayed clean to continue your career moving forward? Like that crazy dichotomy of balance without falling into the shit.
Or getting your head gas to think like, oh, I'm bigger.
all those
I can do
aspects.
whatever the hell I want. Yeah.
It was very hard.
It had to be.
I think with that being said, I think I chose the right school, high school wise.
Yeah.
Because my high school coach was an asshole, right? Definitely Gary DeCeasy.
We all know that.
Yes, he was.
Was an asshole.
Yes, he
Every
was.
deed for a reason.
But at the same token, I learned a lot from him.
Yes.
He didn't allow me to do a lot of this stuff.
He never let your head get
That
gas.
I will say
Never
about.
let your
I will
head
say
get
that
gas.
about him.
Yeah.
though.
Oh, he never let
He
nobody.
definitely burst my bubble on a lot of different occasions, right? Like, oh, you only want to think with this head, not the other head. And it's kind of like, oh, you got all these girls chasing you, X, Y, Z, but you really ain't shit. And he always found a way to humble me.
your ass. Yeah.
He always found a way to humble me. And then on top of that, my family's from Jamaica, so there was no disrespect. There was nothing of that magnitude, right? And I wasn't really an asshole. I was just a good kid who wanted to do well in anything that I did. It didn't matter what it was. I wanted to do well. So, I had friends. I lost a lot of friends, and, I acquired a lot of friends as well, too, right? But understand, I knew who I was, and I was in control of that. I didn't allow somebody to influence me to be somebody else.
Gotcha.
Right?
Dictate what ended up with you. Yeah.
And when fame comes, that's usually what happens, right? When fame comes, that's usually what happens. People start to be different
They
people.
lose a part of who they were.
You lose yourself trying to impress this persona that you're this star. One has nothing to really do with the other. If you balance yourself out the right way.
So a lot of players go through that, obviously.
And they're still going through it.
That's even worse
And
now.
they're still going through it.
I think it is worse now.
Yeah, with all social media and
Yeah,
all
because
that. How many views you got, how many followers you got.
You're not just the dude in the neighborhood
Nah,
anymore.
nah.
It's about fucking, how you said, having my last highlight got 100,000 looks on TikTok. Like, what the fuck?
Everything now is about marketability.
Yeah.
Everybody's trying to market themselves, position themselves in a different way, right? And you're losing focus on what it is to really just be a child and growing up and being a good basketball player, right?
They're more concerned with building a brand than focusing on the craft of like what would make them great.
Well, the NILs ain't gonna help with that.
At all.
No.
At all. But if you look at it right now, if you're looking at the stars of today, I think the one person who I see have done it the best, squeaky clean image, is DJ Wagner from Jersey. Right?
Junior.
Junior.
I just want to go see him play 2 weeks ago.
The boy got a good head on his shoulders. But I think because his father went through it, the trials and tribulations, he's not allowing his son to go through it. And I think it's the best thing that can ever happen.
Using his experience
I watched him for a whole game. They were losing, getting smacked. They playing Mount Verde.
Did his demeanor ever change?
Yo, it never changed. And he was having a bad game, too.
That's
what
the
it meant.
difference.
He was missing everything, but he just kept hustling. He was getting down, playing defense, getting steals. If the ball wasn't going through the hoop, he found other ways to affect the game.
And you know what's crazy? I'll tell you this, and being a coach, being a recruiter on the football side of things, I don't want, look, it's great to show up and watch you play. You threw for fucking 4 touchdowns, you ran for 3, you had all this thing. But what happens when the shit was thick? when things weren't going your way,
Exactly.
how were you acting as a leader on your team? That's what I want to see.
Yeah.
I can see your highlight film all the time, but I'm not going to see this moment.
Yeah.
So you had a time to see a kid
Oh, yeah.
at a point in time where things weren't going his way.
And how he responded and reacted
He just
to
kept
it.
playing, bro.
And that's what coaches
Put his
and
head
recruits
down,
look for,
just kept
man.
Playing. And he has an NBA coach also. Fucking what's this dude
No.
from? His son plays on Dallas Mavericks.
Oh, Jalen Brunson.
Jalen Brunson.
Yes.
Brunson is
Yes.
his, so
What
you
school
know
is that? Camden.
Camden.
Oh, he played
Camden High.
Camden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Brunson went to Temple, played in the NBA for years, hard-nosed player. His son is in the league now. So yeah, he has that older person who's been through the whole league
And the guidance, right? And
Guidance,
that's
yeah.
what's needed the most.
on top of his father, obviously.
Absolutely. Definitely agree with you. 100%.
So let's flash forward to college, right? So I'm assuming you get a scholarship,
Yes.
right? Basketball scholarship.
That was big news.
Yeah, that was.
That was big news.
UMass, John Calipari. You got all these other players from different regions of the country, obviously that you're not playing with. Had you ever been to Massachusetts before?
your visit.
Yes, I went on a couple of unofficial visits, and then I
Gotcha.
also went on an official visit.
Gotcha. Okay.
UMass wasn't my first choice.
Yeah, I know. I know
What
this
was?
story.
Yeah, you know, I wouldn't
I know
get it.
this story.
What was your first choice? And I was going to ask you, who else was suiting you in at the time?
I had a lot of
You had a-
schools.
you had
I
a
had
lot of
I had a lot of schools.
But what were the
pursuing
top,
me.
like the ones that you had a hard time choosing between?
UConn was definitely one. I did like Texas a lot, right? But once again, I knew myself.
Yeah.
Right? The coach at the time was Tom Penders.
Tom Penders,
who's from New York, Fordham guy, good friends with my high school coach.
same one who drafted Vaughn. Oh, brought Vaughn over. Recruited Vaughn.
He was just too laid back for me. With my personality and
wasn't gonna
who
push
I
you.
was,
Yeah, he wasn't gonna push you.
I needed somebody in my face.
Yeah.
So
Like
I
you said,
knew
you
that
knew who you
I
were.
knew who I was at an early age. So I knew that type of laid back coach wasn't for me because he wasn't gonna get the best out of me.
Gotcha.
I would have been bugging out doing whatever I want to do.
You need somebody on your ass.
Exactly. I needed somebody to keep me
And
focused.
just for the people that just, because I don't think we actually specified a year. What year are we talking about in terms of going into college now?
95, 96.
So Ray Allen was at Connecticut at the time.
Ray Allen
Yes,
was at
Allen was
UConn.
there.
Yeah.
Yes, Daron Schaefer
Yeah.
was there. They were recruiting myself, Stephon Marbury, and Wayne Turner. They wanted one more guard. Jesus. Right? Those two made McDonald's All-American. I was honorable mention.
And that was a big thing if you don't know. Playing the McDonald's All-American
yeah,
team was a huge thing.
Yeah, and when I didn't get picked, I cried. Right? Because I missed 15 games my senior year because I broke my ankle.
That's
I broke my ankle.
right. Wow, June.
So-
I just remembered that.
That hurt it. I was averaging 41 a game. That hurt it. That definitely hurt it because I put time in and I did everything I had to do the summer before. Killed in all these All-American camps. I played very well, and then when I broke my ankle, it was kind of like I missed 15 games. I missed most of the year, and it kind of just destroyed me. So anyway, fast forward. UConn was definitely a favorite. At the time, I was like, I'm not sitting behind nobody. I'm not sitting behind nobody. So Rashmel Jones, who's from Westchester, New York, committed early, right? 6'5" guard, very strong, athletic, get to the basket. Ricky Moore, point guard from Georgia,
Okay.
6'1", point
nice.
guard. He was quick, looked like Roy Jones.
Yeah, tough.
And he committed. So it's kind of like, we need one more guard. And I'm like, that's just too many guards. You got Daron Schaefer, who's a 6'5", but
Too many guys in the room there.
Yes. Ray Allen, who's Ray Allen, nothing to talk about. And then those other two guys already committed. So, Calhoun's in the house, and he's like, I need one more. It's either you, Stephon Marbury, or Wayne Turner. Wayne Turner's from Boston, Massachusetts. Stephon is from Brooklyn. I'm from the Bronx. And I'm like, it's too many people for me.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a thick room.
How you get in the room? But once again, I was with it because I loved UConn.
Yeah.
My other top school was Michigan. I'm a Fab Five.
Fab
dude.
Five. Yeah, we came up in that
Especially
era.
during that time.
I'm
Damn.
a Fab Five dude to the core, right? Jalen Rose, my guy, Chris Webber, John Howard, Jimmy King,
Ray Jackson.
Ray Jackson.
Yeah.
That was my crew. But the year before I got there, they brought in 4 McDonald's All-Americans.
Yes.
You had
It's like Maceo.
Maurice Taylor.
Yeah, Maurice Taylor, Maceo.
Maceo Basta.
Yeah.
Willie Mitchell, Gerard Ward from
Yes.
Mississippi,
Yes.
right? And then they had the little white boy, the shooter, Conley, who could shoot the shit out the basketball.
Yeah.
And I'm just watching them that whole year because once again, I'm a Michigan fan and they're losing games. And I'm kind of like, yo, you're not playing together because your ego is bigger than his ego is bigger than your ego, and everybody wants to be the man.
Yeah.
And then Gerard Ward did a Sports Illustrated article, and he was like, you know, I jump like Jordan, I shoot like Bird, I pass like Magic, and I'm like, you trash. Yeah, and that was me, right? So I'm saying to myself, if I was to go to Michigan, I know I'm gonna bump heads
with
these dudes because I'm about winning. You about looking good. You understand?
We're not the same.
We're not the same. We're not cut from the same cloth. And me from the Bronx going all the way up to Michigan to beat people up, that wasn't gonna. It's true. That wasn't gonna work because I want to win. You see what I'm saying? I want to win. So I was like, but that summer in ABCD camp.
Oh my God. ABCD.
I was on a team with Robert Tractor Trailer, God bless the dead, who was Mr. Basketball in Michigan, who was everything. Albert White also too, and he put me with a whole bunch of Michigan dudes, and I'm like, we killing everybody in ABCD. I'm like, yo, shorty, you need to come to Detroit to come hang out this, then, the third, and I'm like, let's set it up. I'll come to Detroit, like let's do it. You got to come out here and play this and third. And it was Robert Trailer's way of saying, listen, I'm signing with Michigan. I need a killer like you on my team so we can go. Yeah. You know, and, you know, it just didn't work out that way because I'm like, man, there's too many people over there. It's not going to work for me. You know, UMass came into play because UMass was always there from day one, right? You had Carmelo Travieso, Edgar Padilla, the two Spanish guards who were holding it down. Fundamentally sound, doing all the right things. I'm kind of like, I'll be the third guard. So it's only three of us. I know I could be one of them out of a spot. That's how I felt.
Yeah,
like coming from New York,
mentality.
I know I'm beating somebody out of a spot. Just given, right? And so I ended up signing there. Dana Dingle was there at the time, who was from St. Raymond.
From the Bronx.
So, you know, I knew somebody there, so I wasn't going to be alone. 2.5 hours away from the crib, 95 to 91, straight
That's
shot.
and that was my next question to ask you too. Did the location of your destination at the point at that time, did the location play a part? Since it was a little close to home, where it was close enough to be within reach, but not close enough to be on you left and right, or nine, you know.
Yes, yes, definitely, right? But once again, traveling with the Gauchos and being away, I slept better in hotels, so I was used to being out.
You were used to making the moves and being around.
I was used to being out the house.
So, you know, a lot of people, if you're listening, if you don't understand the concept, Ted, when you grow up in the circuit of playing on all these elite club teams and stuff, these tournaments are not just down the block and in your neighborhood.
You
they're,
travel.
They're traveling. You know, they're going everywhere.
He was on the road two or three times a month.
Like right now, my son is going to West Virginia next week. 2 weeks after that, he's going to Tennessee. 3 weeks after that, he's going to South Carolina. So for me, it's like I'm having that relapse of a moment watching what you guys had gone through, just watching my own son do it.
Right.
So traveling so much, you get used to the traveling aspect, so distance isn't a problem like that.
Not at all. Not at all.
And you had a good control of your character, so.
I did, but at the same token, excuse me, it was just mom at home with my two other siblings, right? So I wanted to go away selfishly, but at the same token, it's kind of like I need to be close enough.
Within arms.
That's what I wanted to know.
Get back, right?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to know.
The furthest I probably was going to go was Florida.
Still 2.5 hour flight.
Florida.
Still 2 hour flight at that.
But I also was looking at coaches who was going to push me to be better. So I looked at Indiana and Bobby Knight. Because I'm like, I like the fiery.
That's the epitome of pushing at that time.
At the time. Yeah. I probably would have headbutt Bobby Knight. Absolutely, right?
Yeah.
I can see the chair flying out mid timeout. Mid timeout, going over some shit. The chair flying from June.
Purdue. Gene Cady was a coach at Purdue at the time.
Wow.
Another tough, hard-nosed coach. I liked Kansas a lot too, but at the same token, because I didn't qualify early enough, Kansas, Roy Williams at the time sent his assistant coach to come see me. Right?
Still a huge accolade.
You kind of took that personal.
The Caesar took that personal. He's kind of like,
that's still a huge accolade, though. You're talking about, but Lee,
you want Roy
I
Williams to
understand
come
that.
see you.
I get that. I totally get that. But yo, realistically,
What you trying to say? You couldn't come out here and see
exactly.
realistically, though, it's still the allure of who's coming to check you.
That's true.
But something that you just said too, though, was funny. You had just alluded. Damn, yo, I had it on the tip of my tongue.
You know what? Perfect point to pause. Because we got to get into our segment.
Yes.
We're gonna come back to this.
Wait, no, I got it. Hold on, I got it.
I got it.
Really quick.
Yeah.
It's more of a point to make. If you're listening to how he's talking, he is literally stating how he was looking for a hard-nosed coach. And that is something
he didn't want the easy way.
But it's not even that. I don't see that in today's athlete on any standpoint.
Yeah, they want the easy way out.
They don't want to be coach hard.
Yeah.
And the parents don't want it neither.
Nope.
So to see an athlete of his pedigree at the time sitting there knowing who he was, to have the wherewithal to say, yo, you know what? Now I need someone who's going to basically be on my ass.
Get the best out of
to
him.
get the best out of it.
Yeah.
You don't hear that nowadays. So, well, I just wanted to bring that up because that's a big difference on why.
It's a huge difference.
And where you did, what you did in your accomplishment, because the mind frame was different. That it goes to a little bit, the Mamba mentality.
Yes,
exactly.
You want to be the best, then go through the best and be in these hard situations. So, perfect time to segue, Conway.
Yeah. So, like, when we come back, we have our segment called "This Can't Be Life," where we talk about the stuff that you just can't believe or can't wrap your head around. And we got a doozy for y'all this particular episode. We'll be right back.
All right.
It's the main event. It's the SNA Live Podcast, and it's time for our newest segment, This Can't Be Life, where we bring to light the most dim-witted ish that's going on in the news today.
And we're back with our segment that we call This Can't Be Life. So, as I stated before the break, this is where we just talk about something where we just can't wrap our head around what happened. In episode 1, we talked about our boy AB, former Bucks wide receiver.
He got petty yesterday too.
Yeah,
so some of those tweets he threw out,
straight petty wop. So today,
petty wop.
Considering we're talking about sports, we're gonna keep it on a sports note, and we're gonna talk about our New York Knicks, specifically Mr. Julius Randle. Now, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you I saw something I didn't see. I did not see this, but a Newsday reporter tweeted it as it happened. So, not some random person, a reporter. So journalism they take seriously. Obviously, their word is their rep. So, this particular person, Steve Popper, I think his name was.
Of course, you remember the name.
He's a columnist.
He tweets out that Tom Thibodeau, the head coach of the New York Knicks, took a timeout. Pulls his little pad out. He's scribbling a play or whatever. And Julius Randle is just like wandering around the court on the other end of the court, not paying attention, not really being engaged into what's
not a part of the
going on.
team.
Exactly.
Especially when I'm looking at you as a fucking leader.
Forget even paying attention to the play being drawn up. You're not with your team. Mm-hmm. And if you're the leader of that team,
that resonates.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. That sense.
It goes from the top down, man. It goes from the top down.
Shit rolls downhill, bro.
So it's just like, it's frustrating as a Knicks fan because we had a good season last year. Yeah. But that's to build on. That's not the end all. We didn't win a chip last year.
Right.
Like, you can't walk around like, yeah, I got this. You know what I'm saying? New York's my town now. I was busting ass last year. We made the playoffs. We haven't made the playoffs in a while, so now we're good. Like, no. That's the beginning.
Right.
Like, your goal should be championship or bust in your head. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, the ESPN writers and everybody's going to have their own, take on who's going to win the chip this year. But as a player on your own team, if you're not trying to win a championship, then what are you doing? Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's very, very frustrating to see if you're going to be a leader, your teammates, you have to be a leader by example. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Your teammates have to see you, the way you move, the way you conduct yourself, the way you hold yourself out to be this supposed leader. You can lead the team in points and not be a leader.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a different type of, look, at the end of the day, it's New York. And I'm not saying he's not. I'm not saying that. But it is a fact. Not everybody's built for New York.
No.
Not at all. Not at all.
It's tough.
And June, you can speak on this, brother. Like, I know you keep about to say something, you kind of, they hold you like, listen, go for it, man.
Leadership comes in a lot of different forms.
Yeah.
Right? Especially when you're out there and you're the quote-unquote leader, points, engage, whatever the case may be. This team is following you because of the success that you had last year. He definitely showed out. I like Julius Randle as a player. Liked him ever since high school, college at Kentucky. I think the issue with Julius Randle this year is that he's still caught up in the enigma of last year.
Yeah.
Right? He had a great year last year.
His best year.
But this year's team is much better than last year's team. And I'm going to tell you why. Last year, they had to lean heavily on Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose, injury, came back, MVP status. He's not getting back to that level.
No, he's not that dude anymore.
He needs less time to be more efficient.
Yeah.
Last year, they ran him into the ground, and that's why they fizzed out in the playoffs.
Facts.
He didn't have enough break time. Frank, I'm not even going to get into all of that, but he didn't have enough rest time. This year, when you got Kimba, now you can split time. They both look fresh early on in the year. Evan Fournier, whatever the case may be, Alex Burke, XYZ. So they have a much better team. I don't think Julius Randle has realized that as of yet because he's still forcing and trying to be the person that he was last year. RJ Barrett got better. He's shooting a three-point shot much more consistently now, and it's going in. Yeah. Right? You got Obi coming in, streaking to the basket. Emmanuel Quickly's confidence is sky high. When he comes to the game, he's trying to change the dynamic of the game, get to the basket, shooting jump shots. So they have a much better team. I just think Julius Randle hasn't realized that as of yet.
He's not trusting his teammates. He's not trusting him, trying to do everything.
Not at all.
Is it that, you think, though?
Yeah, he's not trusting his teammates.
What about the word expectation? Like, for me, I watched last year, they didn't expect to be as good as they were. Then they were. And that's like, now, well, wait a minute. You showed me you can do this.
You can't go backwards.
You can't go back. I expect you to give me at least this.
It's not a pressure zone.
And in New York, you know how it goes. It goes for every sport in New York. You give me a baseline, I expect way more than that moving forward.
Right.
Exactly.
Can he handle that? Is he built for that?
I don't think his skill set is built for that. Not even just mentally. I don't think he's not, like you said earlier, he's not a Batman.
He's never been a...
He's trying to be a Batman, and he's not a Batman.
He's never been a Batman.
So in that case, your team got better. Trust your teammates and make it more of a team concept versus trying to be LeBron and Kobe.
If you notice the places that he was before this, right? When he's with the Pelicans, he was a Robin. Yeah. You're under the radar. We're not expecting you to do much. He kills. He goes to the Lakers. We're not expecting you to do much. He kills. Now you're at the Knicks. He wasn't expecting you to do much. You killed.
Yeah.
Now we expect you to do. And now, I don't know how to navigate through this, right? The game I was watching. Yes, the game I was watching when he got booed. And it wasn't that they booed him particularly. No, actually, they did boo him particularly. And the reason why was Evan Fournier could not fucking miss a shot. Yeah. So everything needed to be ran through Evan Fournier.
A smart ball player knows that.
He was killing the Celtics. Yeah. Jump shots, doing whatever. He would have freed up Julius. When the ball got to Julius's hands, it stuck there. Yeah. He was trying to create a shot to be a part of that. It wasn't your time, homeboy.
Let the game come to you.
Exactly. That's what he's not doing. He's not allowing the game to come to him. Yeah. So now that everybody's writing and talking about it and you booed him, now you made your gesture, whatever you did, now he's being way too passive because he doesn't want to get booed. Yeah. So once again, is your skin tough enough to really go through that?
And that's what it is. Right?
And that's what it is, right? Your skin is not tough enough. So when the going gets tough and you start playing well, you want the praise, you want the accolades. When it starts getting rough for you, he doesn't know how to navigate and figure that out.
And I think that's what people sometimes don't realize about being the leader on a New York team. Not just a leader.
It's different playing
leader
here.
on a New York team. Yes. Patrick Ewing got booed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and you're no Patrick Ewing.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
he's a Hall of Fame.
Yeah, exactly. Top 50 players of all time. You know what I'm saying? Like, he went up against Magics and the Birds and the Jordans, you know what I'm saying? The Karl Malones, the Barkleys. Like, he was in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not even close to that. So if he got booed and got through it, like, you can't be all up in your feelings because they're booing you. My dude, you've been here for 2 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Patrick Ewing had his whole career with the minus of, a little stint in Seattle at the end that nobody remembers.
We don't want to.
Oh, that was tough watching.
Yo, that looks so crazy with him in the Sonic jersey.
It was tough watching.
That was sad.
Negates.
So, and then Elijah one in the Raptors jersey. Remember that?
Yeah, that was another one.
I didn't even remember that.
Yeah.
Negate. Michael in a Wizards jersey.
In a Wizards, yeah.
Exactly. Forget
Try
all
to
that.
just not remember that.
But the point is that these people spent pretty much their whole career in these cities, and they got booed. So you can't now all of a sudden turn on the crowd because like they're not booing. Let me make a quick little correction. They're not booing you. They're booing your play.
Bad basketball.
Yeah.
Play
They're booing
better.
bad basketball.
That's a good line. They're going to both with you.
Play better.
Exactly. Everyone's saying the same thing here. Well, I'm not physically booing you, bro, but you're playing like shit.
Yeah.
Right? The way you're playing the game, it's not resonating. It's not helping anybody win right now.
And if Julius Randle isn't scoring, then what is Julius Randle doing to help the Knicks?
Nothing.
And that's the problem, right?
Yeah,
he needs to realize I can rebound, I can defend in order for us to still win.
Or be a leader. Talk to your teammates. Tell them, hey, go here. You got to be here. Like, he's not even doing that. He's just out there playing.
You know what's the thing, too, guys?
the best player.
But sometimes, though, we put these tags on these players and these athletes that they don't put upon themselves.
Yeah, because he's not built for it.
You know what I mean? Like, we're here telling you, we're saying all the right things, but they don't see that. You know?
So understand something from somebody who's always led, like myself. When you lead, the expectation is held totally different against you. Yeah. Because if you make a mistake, somebody's going to let you know about it. Quick. If you think you're going to take a day off, somebody's going to let you know about it.
Yeah.
And then you're going to lose people. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So even when I was younger and I started talking, once I opened my mouth and I said something to my teammates, I knew they was going to view me differently. So I couldn't come to practice in bullshit. I couldn't come to a game in bullshit.
Yeah, you put the expectation on yourself. Then.
I put that expectation on myself, not knowing that that's what it comes with.
Yeah.
I was trying to speak up so that we can get shit done. Yeah. Not knowing that, you know what? When we start running, you better make sure you're fucking first.
Yeah, you
when you get to the gym, you got to make sure you're the first one in and the last one to leave.
Life.
You see what I'm saying? So you got to make sure that you're really, if you're going to commit yourself to being a leader, you got to know what that comes with.
Yeah, it comes with
you're held with a different standard and a different expectation that even on your off days that you don't want to be that leader, you're going to have to fake it and be that leader because everybody's looking at you.
Absolutely.
As soon as you let it go, now you ain't shit. You ain't the leader we thought you were.
It's true.
You taking money out your pocket now.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so, I wish I could talk.
And the leash was a lot longer back in the day than it is now.
Yeah.
There's no excuse.
Especially being in New York.
There's no.
So the question is it time for him to go?
Absolutely.
Yeah. If you can get somebody better or multiple players better.
But even at this point, though, right? Like, you might just need to shed the skin. You know what I mean? Like we tried to dance. We went to the party together. We both have two left feet together. We're not in sync. Maybe it's time for you to find another partner.
Yeah, he's not the Batman. He's not the leader. So what are you doing?
But he's not even the Robin.
What are you doing?
Yeah, he's not even the Robin.
Yeah.
So when you're not the Batman, you're not the Robin. Who else is there?
And you're not a leader. So what are you doing for?
But the only other characters that come up in that synopsis are the enemy. So when you start playing against, you're hurting your own team. You feel me, right? You're playing Poison Ivy. You're playing the Penguin. Like you on the other side of the field. Hey, come on now, fam. And it happens a lot with these guys, though. Again, it just comes down to the simple fact that a lot of these athletes, people are just not. They outplay sometimes, like how Julius did last year. In my opinion, he outplayed what you expected him to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But like we went to him, I said earlier, New York has a crazy mentality where it's like, oh wait a minute, you can do that? Shit, well great. You need to fucking do it every time now.
What have you done for me lately?
That's usually what it goes through, and that's in life, man.
New York,
Especially in New York. Yeah,
that is New York, and that's what it is, right? If you look at the Knicks team all together, who is the most reliable commodities on that team? If you're going to trade away, if you're saying Julius Randle isn't our Batman and he isn't our Robin, you need to bring in a Batman and a Robin. Who are you trading off that team in order to get a Batman and a Robin?
And that's the problem.
I keep saying the hottest commodity on the Knicks team is Mitchell Robinson.
They won't let him go.
I had this conversation.
We talk about this all the time. That they will not let him go.
They refuse to let him. I don't know why.
But once again, it's hard to find a rim protector.
It is.
He's a rim protector, but he's injury prone right now. What I would do,
And he's a liability on offense.
big time,
Major.
What I would do is I'll package him right now because we're starting to see he's injury prone.
Yeah.
if you can get good value for him now, get him out now while you can.
Another injury.
Exactly. Get him out now while you can.
Stock is high.
Package him with somebody else. Unfortunately, RJ's off the market. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, he's gonna be a Knick for a while.
RJ's off the market. The two guys that they drafted this year are Thibodeau type of players. Yeah. 4-year college players who come from a great system with great coaches who know how to play defense. Yeah. That's why those two guys were a great pickup for them. The kid from West Virginia and then Quentin Grimes that was at Houston. He went to Kansas first, transferred from Kansas, and then went to Houston. Quentin Grimes. Then the other kid who's a dog. In Texas, no, he went to West Virginia. West Virginia. A dog, right? So once they start getting playing time and getting comfortable, you're a low major because I know what you do. High IQ, not going to hurt us, and you're going to play defense. That's what Tibbs wants. You got to make sure you get away with or trade a Fournier in the package with Mitchell Robinson or Alex Burke, or they love Obi, but I'm also saying too, like Obi,
I wouldn't mind if
you're running
for the right
Duncan,
cause. For the right cause,
you're running in Duncan, which is cool, right? Anybody can run up and down and dunk, come first, second, third quarter. When the crunch time come and I'm forcing you to shoot a jump shot,
you can't do it.
Do you have? That's what I'm saying, right?
And wouldn't Cam fit the same profile too?
Cam's skill set is totally different. Cam's skill set is totally different.
So having a Cam, though, is what I'm trying to say. Is it makes Obi more
obsolete.
That's what I meant by that. Okay, so Conway, to get back to Can't Be Life, why are we using Julius Randle today as the Can't Be Life candidate?
At the end of the day, brother, and I'm not hating on Julius Randle. I don't want to be clear.
Bro, stop. That. We're from New York. Fuck that.
So
you do better. Do better.
Like my dude, man. Like you said, you got the accolades last year. Okay, time to build on that. Let's go. Let's do it. You know what I mean? So, look, at the end of the day, if you're gonna be that leader, you gotta be that leader. Like, there's no in between. And if not, then it might be time to go.
Especially if you can't play that other position. Like you said, if you lived up to it and you said to yourself, hey guys, guess what? I know I did it this year, but I'm not the guy you think I am. Okay? But I'm willing to do everything else to make sure that we're a team until we can get that. That's not Julius Randle.
I don't see the everything else. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly. He's not him.
He's not going to give up the title because anybody in their right mind won't give up that title. But at the same token, you have to understand as a leader of the team, if it's not going your way, how do you still help contribute to a team so you can win? That's what he needs to learn.
The objective is winning. Yeah. Your shot's not falling? Cool. All right. Are you diving on the floor for loose balls? Are you getting rebounds? Are you being scrappy? Are you leading emotionally? Like what are you doing? So you know what? That's why he is the profilee on
for It Can't Be Life right now.
Can't Be Life. But let's get into our second topic of life after the court. Now, before we do that, though, I want to wrap up the UMass days. So we get to UMass, right? So we're all, like I said, at the beginning, around the same age. So I know all of us saw the movie He Got Game. We talked about Ray Allen earlier.
Shuttles.
And Jesus Shuttlesworth.
Shuttles.
So tell the people who've never been through the experience of playing in a D1 college and being recruited and being that dude on campus. Because if you have a popular or better stated, successful sports team, whether it be football, basketball, and you're on that campus and you're one of the starters or one of the stars of the team and that team is successful, people are going to know you on that campus.
Absolutely.
Talk about the parallels between life on campus at UMass and that movie He Got Game in terms of like the reality of that situation.
UMass was on the rise at the time, right? The year before I got there, they went to the Sweet 16.
That's right.
2 years before that, they got into the NCAA tournament. Actually, no, excuse me, they won the NIT tournament. Then the rise, stardom started coming quickly. They got to the Sweet 16. So when I got there and I was being recruited, first thing I heard was, we're going to the Elite Eight or we're going to the Final Four. Because we had the team. Marcus Camby was young.
That's why they bring up Camby's name too.
Marcus Camby, my guy. Yes. Yeah. Budding star, locally from the area. was everything at that time, right? Calipari was a fresh young coach.
Yeah.
Temple was the biggest rival in
John Chaney.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
In
Temple did.
the Atlantic 10, right?
Yeah, A10, yeah.
And once we beat them, it was kind of like, we're here now.
Yeah. Yep.
You know what I mean? And that was the turn. And once I got there, they beat them the year before I got there. They started getting nationally televised games. They beat Arkansas the very first game of the season in the Hall of Fame Classic for Springfield Hall.
Nolan Richardson was still down there.
Nolan Richardson, yes. That's when Arkansas won the championship the year before. That's
Scotty
when
Thurman.
Kareem Reed was supposed to be
there,
there, but he had to sit out. That would have been the national championship year.
That's right. Shit. That's
So-
right.
He sat out there first.
Yeah,
Damn.
so he had to sit out that year. So once again, getting to UMass, it was a big thing. Team was on the rise. Here comes this flashy kid from New York.
Yeah, we always get that reputation.
I got the Pele on. Of course. My Yankee hat is on.
Of course. Fresh.
They running around calling me Puffy up on campus. The Yankees is winning, so my chest is hot.
Yeah,
I'm talking crazy. Yankees is winning 95. We winning championships 96.
Yeah.
So everything was here come New York, here come New York, here come New York, right? But once again, I just blended in with everybody. As far as Jesus Shuttleworth, he got game, yes. Ladies I was a magnet. The team itself, right? Because we're in Amherst, Massachusetts, we were the NBA team there. So everybody wanted to be affiliated with us. Everybody.
Yeah.
So it was coming out the woodworks. I played it smart. Did what I had to do, but I stayed low key, under the radar. Because once again, I'm the new kid from New York. So if I didn't play it smart, everybody would be like, "Oh, New York is doing this, New York is doing that, XYZ." So and then
The
being on
spotlight's
that
on you.
spotlight is on us, on the team. We were the NBA team there, right?
Yeah.
We brought relativity to Massachusetts at the time, right? Boston College is 2 hours away. They were a good team at the time. So once again, we did what we had to do. I made sure I did what I had to do as well too. So once again, great college career at UMass. I wouldn't trade it in for the world. Got hurt towards my senior year. Stress fracture in my foot. Ended up scoring 1,000 points.
Okay.
Ended up having 1,000 assists.
Can you talk about real quick, because this comes up a lot with respect to the quote-unquote student athlete. Can you talk about the balance between actually being able to get any type of schoolwork done and
With your vigorous schedule.
with your practice schedule? Because, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's a heavy demand on
Absolutely.
the D1 scholarship athlete, right?
Absolutely. I figured it out early. The first half of the school year is where you really have to put in the work and grind.
Yep.
The first half. Because once again, when the second half comes, second half of the school year is play,
All
then come March Madness.
Yeah.
So you're not going to be around as much.
Tutors came into effect.
Tutors had them on the road with us. We had study hall on the road. In the hotels, we were doing schoolwork.
Setting that GPA from the beginning, though, is the way to go, though, like
That
you said.
is the way to go.
Yeah.
You get that grade up high, God forbid you slip a little on a test, at least your GPA is high enough in the beginning.
So that first semester,
First semester, you got to
it's
grind.
crucial.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
first semester is where you grind, right?
Yeah.
And I learned that early and it slipped off late with it. And I'll tell you why. Because I took classes like accounting second market period or the second half of the season.
Yeah.
And because I wasn't there enough, accounting turned into Chinese to me.
Yeah, sure. It definitely.
You can't, it's too many numbers, too much going on, too many algorithms. I'm kind of like, I'm cool, let me drop this and go on to something else.
Yeah.
Because there's no way I'm past this if I'm not here.
Yeah, you
But I
got to
took
put the
it
time in.
First marking period or first semester,
yeah.
I'm there every day. We're not traveling as much.
Yeah.
It's more preseason stuff. We're local. I can hone in more, get more help,
Gotcha.
do what I need to do, and be in class more. When you miss one day of class in accounting,
You set yourself back like a week.
it's like Braille. There's nothing to talk
Yeah,
about.
yeah, it's
right?
true.
So, learning those in and outs and those nuances in college was key for me, especially playing basketball, because once again, you're there on scholarship. You know what you're here for, but to make sure that GPA was boosted up very high come first semester was key for anybody that was on the basketball team.
It's like padding your stats against a weak opponent.
Big time.
You pad them in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? So there's a case when I play against, a little bit, I might have 16. At least it don't hurt my 31-point average so much.
Right. So, even with that, the coaches did a great job too to make sure you guys got to make sure you're in class. So you got 6 o'clock practice in the morning. That doesn't mean anything. If you have a 10 o'clock class, you shower and make sure you're in class. And you had your team managers going around scouting to making sure you was in class. And if you wasn't, that phone call was going in. Next morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, we're up running. So nobody wanted to be the cause of that or to blame. A couple of people got caught, and we had to run at 4 o'clock in the morning. And then I was like,
using your peers, man, that's a great way.
We ain't doing this shit no more. Like, nobody wants to get up out their bed at 4 o'clock, especially if you're just coming in from a party at 3 o'clock.
So now, like, you're self-regulated now. Like, now, like, every teammate's going to be looking at you like, yo.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Class, yo.
There was a study done on that. And it's crazy how they always assimilate how, like, monkeys and apes are so close to human beings. So they had done a study where they would put a bunch of monkeys in a space, and they would put a banana in the middle. Every time one monkey went out and grabbed the banana, they would shock them all. They all had collars on. So it started teaching them that peer mentality. Like, well, wait a minute, chill, yo, you can't go do that. Yeah. And that's the importance of, I'm trying to use that in the sense where, how June was saying, like, I didn't want to be that guy that fucked up. Yeah. That now we all got to run because of my stupidity. Yeah. Because also, if you're trying to make a name for yourself on the team, being a leader, you don't make yourself very well known or very well accepted being a leader if you're the guy who's the cause of a lot of the fucking punishments.
So you had mentioned that a stress fracture in your foot kind of took you out senior year. Was that the beginning, middle, or end of the season?
I think it was something that was lingering the whole time because I broke my ankle my senior year in high school. So therefore, come freshman year,
he's playing.
Freshman year, I'm playing
full throttle.
Very first game of the year against Kentucky. As soon as I step into the game, I break my foot. So now, 1 year removed from high school, I got 3 screws in my left ankle. Very first game, my freshman year against Kentucky in Ann Arbor, Michigan, I break my foot. So now I'm kind of balancing between both feet, trying to make sure that I get myself together, keep my weight down, do the things I need to do to make sure I'm on the court, things of that magnitude. And I think just the stress and going back and forth throughout the years.
So was the stress fracture in your right foot?
The stress fracture actually ended up being in my left foot, where I broke my ankle. Come my senior year.
Gotcha.
So it's senior year in high school, left ankle. Freshman year, right foot, I broke. Then senior year, college, back to the left foot again. Stress fracture. So, we just kept going back and forth. But once again, I wouldn't trade it in for the world. Did what I had to do. Graduated from school. Scholarship. Played well. Had a chance to go overseas to play some basketball. Could have got drafted. Once again, with injuries, things happened. Went overseas to Russia for a little while. Played on a Super League team. Made some good money. And then it was kind of like, all right, all this money's going back home. 1 time or 2 times you jerked me, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
how long were you in Russia?
I was in Russia for about a year.
Okay.
I was in Russia for a year playing on a Super League team, traveling to different countries to play the best teams. Super League team, playing very well. But once again, it was kind of like, I don't need this money with me in Russia. I need to send it home.
Yeah.
So 1 or 2 times they did the funny business, and I was like, you know what? I'm cool.
I'm good.
I'm out of here. Give me all my money. Send me home. So when I came back home, got into teaching. Was an elementary school teacher for 4th grade.
Okay.
Taught all subjects. Was coaching basketball back at St. Raymond's, doing things that I like to do. And just kind of took off from there.
So let me ask you this. Russia's a year. You get back home. You see some of the people that you played against now in the NBA. Is there ever a point where you are regretful about injuries or the path that your career took? Are you ever envious? Is there ever something that you have to kind of quote unquote get over? Or were you, because you had talked about earlier about you knew who you were.
Right.
And sometimes a lot of people will base where they're at in their life with their self-worth as opposed to just being the person that they are. So being that you said earlier that you knew who you were you content with where you were at in terms of after the year in Russia, or was there a certain amount of time where you kind of had to get over not being? Because I mean, every basketball player that reaches the level that you reached in terms of D1, obviously the next step is playing professionally. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Whether that be NBA, whether that be overseas, wherever, still a somewhat decent professional career.
Right.
So you didn't have that after Russia. It was only a year. And correct me if I'm wrong. Was it just Russia after UMass and that was it?
It was just Russia.
Okay.
See, here's my one regret that I have, and I don't have too many. The one regret that I have is that when I came out of UMass and I was playing ball and I was hot, I had agents coming after me. Didn't know too much about the world. I was kind of just going through it with the feel. The one regret I have is that there was a female agent that was harassing me. Harassing me. I can get you this job. You be my first client, X, Y, and Z. And I didn't give that lady a shot. She was the most persistent person in my life at the time. Before I went to Russia, we went to France. I played on the USA team. Was there for about 3 months. Played in 3 different tournaments. I got MVP in all 3 tournaments. And this lady was going, calling whoever was the coach at the time, whoever assembled the USA team situation. And I didn't give this lady a shot. That's my only regret with it. Injuries are part of the game. If you're going to play the sport, injuries are part of the game. It happens, right? So I was content and cool with myself because I went to school. I got a degree. I was fine with working with kids because that's what I really wanted to do. I wanted to work with kids. So coming back and getting a job as a teacher in the Catholic school, 4th graders I was okay with that. I never once was like, I need to be there. Like I played with Chauncey Billups. I played with Vince Carter, who was a good friend of mine. Kevin Garnett. That was my class and that was my era. Sham Guard, Stephon Marbury, Antoine Jameson.
It's not a weight right there to those names.
You name Sharif Abdul-Rahim, Paul Pierce, Ron Mercer.
Yeah.
We all bumped heads and played ball in all-American camps and camps all across. So I see them on TV all the time. I see them playing, things of that magnitude, but I've never once regretted how my career went. If I didn't get injured, can I have been in the pros? Yes. I got injured, things happen. It is what it is, right? I never once beat myself up about it, never once hated on the next person who made it and achieved their accomplishments and their goals and went on to play in the NBA. I just kind of was like, this is what I'm in right now. Let me make the best of what I'm in right now. I'm a teacher. Let's teach. I got a chance to go back to my high school and help coach. Let's coach. Okay. Let me get these kids ready. You guys are going on to college. Let me tell you what it was when I was recruited. Gotcha. I had a diary in the newspaper when I used to write about how I was being recruited. Shit. Diary of a recruit.
That's right. Yeah, damn.
Me and Shaniqua Holslaw.
That's right.
Right?
Wow. Yeah. No. He's bringing
volunteer.
He's bringing back some shit right now, man. I'm like, wow. That's right.
Queensborough's own.
It was a great experience for me. Right? Would I love to play pro? Absolutely. Who doesn't? Right? To this day. But once again, when I watch these games, I learn something every day. I try to instill it in the kids that I'm coaching or I'm training or I'm doing different things. When I speak to parents, I'm trying to tell parents now, here's how you got to be in order to make sure your kids is successful on that next level. All of you aspiring to get a scholarship, because once again, nobody wants to pay for college.
Yeah.
That's what everybody wants to do, right? So, I've never once wavered, never once doubted, never once was upset. Because once again, I knew who I was.
So that's exactly, damn, bro.
I knew who I was.
That was a point that I was going to lead to right now. I was going to ask you, do you believe that to the testament of who you were as an individual coming up in the process, since you had that grounding and that mindset on who you were and you knew who you were, did that help it with the whole transformation from being that guy to knowing now that you have to, again, it's I don't want to call it the regular world, you know what I mean? The real life in general, but like, did your grounding help you with the transformation going from being in the limelight to now being, hey, you know what? not that guy anymore that I used to be, but it doesn't take anything away from who I was or my experiences, and now I can use this in a different manner to teach and pass it forward.
Absolutely, right? And once again, like I said, I didn't put all those eggs into that same basket to say it's either this or it's nothing.
How important is that? Like, if you were to talk to anyone that's from your bracket, your age bracket, right below you, right before you, what would you say to that individual, that athlete that hasn't let go? You know what I mean? Like, obviously it might be too late because those individuals might have put all their eggs in that basket, using your analogy.
Right.
What type of advice could you give to somebody though that hasn't let go of the what could have been, and they're still harboring that in today and holding that as an excuse to why they can't move forward with their life?
It's hard.
You know a lot of those guys.
We all know a lot of those guys, right? It's very hard. I can't sit here and narrate somebody else's story. What I can say to you is this: you did what you had to do with the time that you had. Move on, right? Now we have families. Now we have kids. Now professional world. Some people aren't built for the professional world, but once again, me sitting in the front at these All-American camps and meeting all these people and shaking their hands.
You were the CEO of your team at that time.
It allowed me to open up other doors for myself, right? And that's what I will pass on to any child that I'm involved in right now at that highest level. Make sure somebody knows your name and knows who you are. Not just your basketball skills, because at the same token, just how you put the pin inside that ball to pump air into it is the same way you can put the pin inside the ball
and deflate
to
it.
Let the air come right out.
Correct.
You understand what I'm saying? It speaks volumes to a lot of us. We did what we had to do, yes. Do coaches use you in order for them to benefit?
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. Do parents right now kind of use you to navigate and try to make sure you get to the highest point?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. But understand something too. This game opens up the doors for relationships.
Yes. Yeah.
Use those relationships. The schools that you go to, the kid next to you that you want to cut on every day might be a CEO of a company, and someday you're going to turn around and need that person. You understand what I'm saying? So I always go with the motto, you're going to need me before I need you. That's always been a motto of mine. I don't know where it came from. It just always stuck with me. You're going to need me before I need you. So once again, I'm not going to change who I am, because at some point it's going to come back around full circle.
Yes.
Whereas I can probably help you get into a better position, or vice versa. You understand what I'm saying?
So let me ask you something. So you talked about teaching kids.
Right.
You also talked about coaching kids. When coaching kids comes, with coaching kids comes the parents. Now, you're old enough such that you've seen it through both lenses, meaning you were that kid.
Player.
And correct me if I'm wrong, you're a parent as well,
Coach,
right?
Yep, I am a parent.
And you're coaching kids, right? Do you try to, as best possible, drop jewels on
Every day.
the parents as well?
Every day.
In addition to the kids. To say,
You
hey,
have
look,
to.
And it's hard. I'm sure it's hard.
It's
because now
very,
you're dealing with grown-ups. You know what I'm saying?
it's very hard.
Stuck in their
because
ways.
They're very stuck in their ways. A lot of them never played basketball on this level or this magnitude. They don't understand. Once again, they have filters and they listen to other different people. Here I am, knee deep in this, been in it for years now, without my mom, without my dad.
Yeah.
So I got to see all different spectrums of this game evolve and grow, right? A friend of mine's always kind of like, listen, if your son was on my team, I would do X, Y, and Z. I will make sure he's good because you're my boy. I said, it sounds like you're doing me a favor.
Facts.
Don't do me no favors.
Facts.
If my son is not producing or doing what he needs to do to
Bench
be on
his
that
ass.
court,
You don't deserve it.
he does not deserve it. Now that's a conversation for me and my son to have when we leave. I'm not going to do it during the game and discredit what he's doing or even harbor on that. When we leave, and I tell parents this is how your conversation should go. How do you think you played today? The reason why I'm asking you that question
First
because
thing
I
I do.
already know
First thing I do with my son.
my answer and my response.
First thing I ask my son every day.
Yeah.
How do you think you played? Now, if your son sits there or your daughter sits there and bullshits you, you know that they're not serious about it.
Yeah, it's a
Because
false sense of reality there.
I know what I'm watching and you just went through it. So tell me how you really feel.
Yeah.
If your son be like, you know what, I could have did better today. Or my daughter said, I could have did better today, Daddy. how.
Yeah, explain to them.
You understand what I'm saying?
You want to make sure their brain is working too, though. You want to see that they could resonate with the issues, the things they did right, the things they did wrong. That's how you know there's growth and
issue spotting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what you can build on. You understand what I'm
Exactly.
saying? I think it's too many times you have parents who are embedded into this game and want the best for their kids, where they degrade their kids and break them down so much that the kids fall out of love for the game.
Yep.
You understand? So it's kind of like, I'm giving you open-ended questions for you to answer. And every time you say something, I'm going to say, and then what else can you do? Okay, so the next time you play, what are some 3 things? Because if you give them too much, they're not going to know what to hone in on.
Correct.
Give me 3 things that you can work on for the next time you play.
Glad you said
And I'm going to hold you to that the next time you play. That's all I'm looking for. All the other stuff we can work on. Once again, when I have players, it's kind of like, if you can't shoot, perfectly fine. Don't worry about that. Because we're in league right now, we're in season, because you know you can't shoot, then you shouldn't be shooting threes.
And it's not the time to figure it out. Not now. We do that in the off season.
In the summertime is when we work on our craft.
But what are you good at right now, though? What'd you say, Conway?
Ben Simmons.
Oh shit! But right now, though, to hone in on that, right? Like, what are you good at right now? What are the good things you are doing that you feel comfortable with? And we have to hone in on that. And one thing I'll touch on, also being a coach and being a general manager of a youth league, one of the hardest parts that parents can't get through their head, the most crucial time for you to get with your child when it comes to playing sports is that car ride home after a game.
That's a big fact.
It's what the fuck you say in that car ride home too. You know, are you beating them up? Are you fucking just belittling them and everything that they did wrong?
Or degrading the coach.
Which that was my second point.
Don't blame
I'm never going to blame you for your deficiencies because I don't want you to even acknowledge what you're good or bad at. I'm going to blame it on somebody else because I don't want to break your skin or break your shell because I can't do that to you.
No excuses. What did you do? What did you do to help yourself? What did you do to help the team?
So, Julian, let me ask you this then. Do you find that certain parents, it's not even really about the kid, it's about their failures in their own life, putting it on the child, and now the child has this burden and the parent is belittling them, degrading them, because it's not really about how the kid played. They're just replaying, the parents are just replaying their shortcomings in their own head. Like, is that something that you come across?
I think it's 85% of that.
Oh, wow.
I think it's 85% of that.
That's scary.
Nobody will really tell you that.
Yeah.
You could just see based off the conversations. You base off the parents' mannerisms and how they carry themselves. You can see that all the time. We all want success for our kids.
Yeah,
We all want to put our kids in the best situation. But what I'm starting to see is that you will move your kid around so many different times to put them in that perfect situation.
It doesn't exist.
It does and it doesn't.
It's very hard to find.
You're going to find it, but if you do find it, it's
At
not
what
going to be
cost?
at the level that you really want it to be at.
Sure,
always
that's
want
like
it to
you
be
playing
better.
D3.
You're always gonna think something's better.
You always want it to be better, right?
Yeah.
And then once it's better, you realize my child really can't compete or play in this position because I've moved them around so much, they never adjusted on how to fit into this.
And they also can't be coached at that point. Because you bounce them around so much, these kids can only absorb but so much.
And if you look at the people that we are speaking about, who we keep saying are broken, who are damaged, who want to blame the sport, blame the coach, blame the situation, whatever the case may be, that's what it was. The hard work wasn't put in. You didn't have to grind. You didn't have to get benched. I was benched before. I had to sit down. I had to learn. Look at Kimber Walker. Kimber Walker was benched. Came in, was benched. He didn't say anything.
Nope.
He didn't beef.
No excuses.
No excuses. He did what he had to do, and then when he got back on the court, he showed improved.
How old is Kimber now?
30? I think he's about 30.
I don't think he hit 30 yet.
Yeah,
So
I think he's like 28, 29.
So he got, all right, 20, 29.
yeah.
He's that young?
I mean, he's been in the league a little while.
Yeah, it's injuries, man.
It makes it feel like it's so much longer.
Because the reason I ask is because I think he's bred differently. Because I was gonna say, like,
Where he from, though?
He came
Where
up.
he
He came up in
Where
New
he
York
from?
City.
Where he from?
BS.
But once
Where
again,
he from?
BS, baby.
once again, Kimba wasn't really good his freshman and sophomore year.
I didn't even know about him till senior year.
It was his junior year when he came on. He played in the summertime.
Imagine what he did in the summer.
Started playing, and that's what created the confidence and built moving on up. Then he started playing 50-50. They started calling him easy pass, this, then the third. Then his confidence started to come up because couldn't shoot, fast as hell, great handle, and then that confidence came his junior year, and he just ran with it. Great 2 years at Rice, won the championship, went to UConn. Freshman year, okay, mediocre. Sophomore, junior year, went to
Big
work.
championships and everything.
Big shot. All that stuff matters, right? Because I put my head down. I never was given anything too early. I had to grind, and that's what it is too today, right? These kids are being afforded too much too early.
Yo, the gratification.
You're not putting in the
no
time.
one puts in the work, bro.
Right? You've never been benched. You never had to come. You know, the whole Michael Jordan story. He was cut from his high school team.
That don't exist nowadays, though, with these stories of these kids. Because once they get benched,
once they get cut, they move from school
to
and go to
school.
another school.
Because the parent is like, you know what? Nah, this is not the right fit. Whatever. It's not your fault. It's the system's fault. We're going to find a place for you. One thing I will say, and I don't know if you had a chance to coach yet, since we're talking about, you know, your coaching time now and your training time, right? Coaching children that are either direct heirs of former players or people who have like an allure to them because of their name. So I'll sit there and say, like, you had used the percentage before, how it was 85%. When it was in regards to the parents and how with their, and correct me if I'm wrong, you had said 85% is based off the parents. What was that for again before?
They were living vicariously through their kids because they failed.
Parents.
Because they failed.
So because of that, I turn around and I say, having two big name people for me being a coach. I've had the son of Nate Burleson, right? And I've had another guy. I can use Nate because he's my friend, but I won't use the other guy's name. These guys.
Tell the people who Nate Burleson is.
So Nate Burleson is a former NFL wide receiver. He is the current CBS analysis for the Sunday Football. He's also on NFL Network, and he is currently on CBS Good Morning now. He is, you know, his career is blossoming.
He's there.
So having someone like Nate on the sideline before, being a parent who is in the mix, Nate never pushed the bullshit like how some of these parents that never played the game push the bullshit. And that's where I sit on a fine line when it comes to some of these former athletes. Some of them know what they're talking about. I had another gentleman who was a star in the Canadian Football League. He was basically the Travis Kelce of the Canadian League. You know, he was that guy. He's won chips up there. I just coached both of his sons this past year, and he was the first one that was the last one to speak. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
He was the first one to be the last one to speak.
Yeah.
But he was the guy who could have spoke the most because I had the most skin in the game. I've done this before. I could say whatever the fuck I want. Those guys tend not to speak so much because they understand what the value is with coaching, the process, what it is growing. But the parents that don't,
well, they didn't make it,
and they have never, because you had said,
try to have the most voice in the room.
And it's like, bro, what are you doing? What are you doing here?
It's unfortunate, right? Because it's a universal thing. They all do it. I'm not one to toot my horn, so I have plenty of chances where I could have got up and just shut the whole room down and just spewed out accolades. And I'm just kind of like, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take the high road, right? Trust the process. That's what I'll say. Allow me to coach your child. I think more parent meetings need to happen. The buy-in is not there no more. Everybody wants to run to the next best thing. Whoever's winning games or whatever the case may be.
That's true.
They want to showcase their child
on IG. That's what it's about.
That's really what it is.
It's about marketing. It's about social media. Why is my child not getting the publicity? Why can't I post my child on it? And I'm kind of like, that's not what it's about. In 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, like that's not what it's about. It's
you can't tell them that though.
Not at all, because nobody really wants to hear that. And this is just truth of the matter, right? Allow your child to develop. If you see that somebody's taking interest in your child and your child's developing. So one of my spiels that I always have with my parents is that if If you feel like your child is not getting better underneath my tutelage, then feel free to go elsewhere. You hear what I said? If you feel like your child's not getting better underneath my tutelage,
take them to where you might feel that they're going to get a better.
Where you might feel.
Emphasis on might.
That's
Now,
it,
what is getting better? Because when your child came in, your child couldn't dribble. So therefore, I did something to make sure that your child got better. Your child couldn't shoot. Your child didn't understand basketball one-on-one. Your child didn't understand how to box out, backdoor cut. They didn't understand these things. So your child's getting better. If you notice what I said, I didn't say anything about wins and losses. That's what these people are priding themselves on.
They're not used to the growth process. They just want to see instant gratification on the wins and the losses.
And that's it.
How many chips did you win? Not you in particular. I'm talking about that's what parents look for. And you know what's another factor I noticed too? With a lot of parents today, they will stray away from better competition just to be able to throw an accolade on their son that they've won championships. Oh, he's won 3 of these tournaments,
MVPs,
this and the MVP.
All-Star.
But where did he do this at? Where did she do
Who's
this
he
at?
playing against?
Who did she play against? Wait, what league were you doing
It's
this
not
in?
what you did, it's who you did it against.
Absolutely, because you could be a star and
They want the
play
easy way
town
up.
ball.
They want the
Exactly.
easy way up.
And that's where the reclassification thing comes into play.
Oh boy, that's a whole nother
And
conversation.
that's a whole different other conversation, right? Because I can't compete.
Just for the people that are not really into sports, explain what reclassification is.
I don't want to throw shade on nobody.
I can say it if you want.
That is you retaining your child back a grade so that they can compete in whatever sport it is that you want them to compete in.
It's against the purpose of what reclassification was meant to be for. It was ideally because your child couldn't develop well academically.
And
They utilized the loophole
Yeah.
to be able to get them another year under their belt. So now that you might be going from 8th grade to freshman year, you might not be ready for freshman year. So I want to hold you back again 8th grade year. So when you go into freshman year,
Now you're
bigger,
older,
smarter,
stronger.
faster, everything.
Yeah.
Now you have the advantage. Now you're going to get noticed.
that's what it's for.
But it only goes but so far. And a lot of
It's
people
going
don't
to catch up to you at some point.
It definitely
It's
does.
gonna
Thank
catch
you.
up to you.
It's what. Say that one more time. It's going to do
definitely
what?
gonna catch up to you at
Thank
some
you.
point.
And it does all the time. I tell this to parents.
You know what? This is not something I planned on asking, but it just kind of naturally went this way. No, I'm curious to get your opinion on this. Zion Williamson played in. Everybody saw his high school highlights.
Amazing.
Amazing, but you saw who it was up against.
Watched all the clips. Absolutely.
So, talking about the reclassification in terms of like not necessarily what you did, but who you did it against.
Right.
So now he's in the league. He's used to being the most athletic, the strongest, the highest jumping, the biggest. Now he's. Don't get me wrong. He's still a freakishly athletic individual.
Freak of nature. Absolutely.
But now there's other people that are just as big,
Just as strong.
just as strong, and work harder at maintaining their body.
That's
and
that's where he went wrong.
Zion was never pushed.
Yeah, that's where he went wrong.
He was never pushed.
Yeah.
He was that guy who always had the carte blanche to do what he wanted.
And Gilbert Arenas said it best. He came in at a heavy weight. Getting into the NBA, now you have strength and conditioning coach, meal preparation, XYZ. You're going to gain your muscle now that you're in the NBA. So all he did was, on top of whatever he had now, weight-wise, he added on NBA muscle, which is making him heavier, which is breaking his body down because he already came in overweight. Nobody said, you know what, because he's been getting away with it for so long, now you're playing against physical, stronger, just as athletic as you are. Your body now has to catch up with your NBA 25 that they call it, right? You put on 25 pounds of muscle.
It's a big difference.
It's a huge difference.
People don't realize that.
Huge
It's a huge fucking difference, man.
Huge difference. And that's what's Zion's problem.
Especially the way he plays, because
Reckless abandon.
all that weight is coming down.
Downhill.
That sneaker, that sneaker incident said everything.
blew out. Yeah.
That says a lot, bro. That's a lot of torque.
Yeah.
To be able to pop the seams on a fucking sneaker.
Yeah.
We can attribute it to as many deficiencies in the sneaker that you want. At the end of the day, that sheer force of that man is what created that situation.
Crazy.
You know what I mean? But it's a good time, man. And June, again, we appreciate your story. We appreciate your insight, and
definitely.
most importantly, the message you could send out on multiple levels, from being there, being the guy, to now, being a guy on the other side of the whistle, so to say, or the other side of the court, where you're training and you're coaching. Like a lot of the jewels that you have were very crucial, I felt, that you said today. And I hope that the people that listen to this, they absorb it, because a lot of stuff nowadays goes right over the heads of people, man. But you dropped some real heavy jewels today.
Yeah.
And it's been great having you here for this segment. I wouldn't want to have it with anybody else.
Greatly appreciate
Especially for this topic.
Yeah, especially with this topic, bro. And
Much appreciated.
And again, and I will say this to the testament of Charlton, use your government. I know where he's from. We from the same hood. I've watched him grow up. He's older than me. He's always been the dude that we looked up to, and he's been the guy who had that spotlight on him. And to see how through the years of being the guy, his character never changed no matter how bright the spotlight got. Yeah. He was always the same guy. And what I mean by the same guy is that he never lost his character on who he was and who he is all the way up to today. And I appreciate you for that, because there's not many individuals that have had that spotlight and been there to be able to not lose themselves. Yeah, and to be able to be back here to pay it forward and still doing what you're doing is a huge testament to who you are. And I appreciate you on air, on tape,
yes, sir.
Just to say that, it's been a pleasure watching you grow through this process.
Give that man a round of applause, man.
Well, facts.
Very much, definitely.
Because again, like I said, I've watched Charlton throughout the years, man. We've been in the same high school. It's hard not to know who's who. You know him as your man, but then you watch everybody like, oh my God, Charlton. And you watch game day, the fucking gyms are packed.
Yeah.
And then he's also showing out when these things are happening. It's not like he's just living up to the name. He's also going out and he's producing. Yeah. But he never changed who he was. And that should show to a testament to the people who are coming up, these kids. If you're a parent from our era and you have children in sports, I hope you listen to some of these things that are being said. Take some of this.
Listen and take notes.
Because facts. Because this is real deal talk, and it's coming from a source that has seen multiple situations, been in the room with multiple people, has been on the same court as multiple people, and is now pulled away from all that, and is still the same person in that process.
Yes, sir.
Definitely.
So I appreciate you for everything you've done, bro.
I greatly appreciate the
Thank you,
platform, definitely. And the one thing I can say to everybody, especially parents, if you want to see your child succeed and grow in this sport, or any sport for that magnitude, please make sure that you humble yourself first as a parent, right? Humble yourself first. Allow your child to grow. Help your child. And the best way you can help your child is just to make sure that the leeches and the people on the outside are not steering your child wrong. Like I said, my mother wasn't heavily engaged into this. I had some great coaches around me, but once again, I knew myself as a person. Yeah. I knew myself as a person, and once again, if you know your child and your child knows herself, you can't get steered or bamboozled the wrong way throughout this game. Because once again, it's very tricky. It's a very tricky game. Everybody wants to use you and use your child as a pawn to make themselves better or look better or their team better, anything of that magnitude. Try to make sure you maximize and get the best out of every situation you possibly can. And if somebody's doing right by your child, stay loyal to that person to make sure that you get the gains and the jewels and all the things that come with that. And once again, a successful life, right? That's all it's about.
I hope you are listening to that right there. Once again, big up to Charlton Clarke.
Thank you.
Coming through with us today.
Appreciate it.
It's a great way to segue into our closing segment.
Yes, we're going to get into What You Rockin Wit, where we talk about what we're feeling, what we're vibing with this particular week, right on the other side of this break.
This is What You Rockin With inside the SNA Live podcast.
It's no introduction.
And we're back with our segment. We call it What You Rockin With. And in this particular segment, we just talk about, what we're feeling, what we're vibing with this particular week. We call it, What You Rockin With. So
you should already know what it is by now, everybody.
We in season 3.
That's what I'm saying. Get up off you already know what this is.
We want us to go. We shouldn't have to.
No, we shouldn't have to. And if you guys are the gamblers, I know you are, What are the odds on Malik taking somebody's thunder today? We got 2-1, 5-1 odds.
Let's see.
It's a good time for you. Take them bets now. Now it's time to take the bets.
Gambling's legal in Jersey now. Place your bets.
I got the over on that one.
Rob, I'm gonna let you start it off this week, brother. What you got?
Thank you so much. I'm glad. And listen, it goes a little bit to what I ended talking about the last time. What I am rocking with are the stone cold individuals that have been through the process, whether it was their own particular career, primarily their own career, however or whatever stage they went to, where it was you were the best in Little League or you were the actual best in D1 and you probably even went to the pros.
Yeah.
I'm rocking with the individuals that have come back to pay it forward and take that knowledge that they've learned. Because listen, man, think about it. I can sit here and tell you I'm 41 right now. I'm dumbfounded that I'm 41.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I am.
No, I don't.
But it's a lifetime.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And the experiences I've had through my lifetime, to be able to have a half an hour conversation with someone half my age, the amount of things that I could lay on their table for them.
Yeah.
From any aspect of life. You want to go relationship, you want to go collegiate, you want to go just like your life in general, whatever it is, I can give you things because I have the years behind it. A lot of people don't know how to pay it forward, and the ones that do are so crucial to the foundation of any community you're building anything in. And without the foundation, you can't have a skyscraper.
Facts.
So I'm rocking with the individuals that have found ways to come back and give back to their local communities. If they're coaching at a regular, and when I say regular, please don't get disrespected.
Yeah.
If you're coaching at your local school,
Yeah.
or you're even coaching, you're all the way up to coaching a local club team. Just that individual to come back and give back and utilize their true experiences. Because listen, there's a lot of coaches out there that are still cut from a cloth, that are of the leech, that are of the snake, that are of the what I can get from you.
Yeah.
Because it's very, very noticeable in every sport.
Yeah.
I've coached baseball. I've coached football. My closest friends have played basketball.
Yeah.
I've watched their lives. I've seen it, and I still see it through the lives of other friends where these coaches are. I'm really rocking with the people who know how to give back the right way and are actually making a change in these lives of these kids moving forward.
Cool. Okay.
I like that.
Lee,
Nice.
what you rocking with this week, brother?
So before I get to what I'm rocking with, I just want to touch on that point also, because it's something that I kind of went through personally where...
Time out. Big ups to Malik. It's his rookie year coaching.
That's actually where I'm getting.
I gotta let that loose. Yeah, I've coached. I know June is coaching. Malik has joined the ranks finally, and he should be. And motherfucker, you know that I got on you for years.
So that's where I'm getting at. So shame on me, because I always held a lot of that animosity of, what didn't happen, what didn't, what happened, what didn't, and I was saying, fuck that. I know what's going on here, and I always kept all of that shit in. And I would talk to you guys, we would have conversations, and I would say, we'll see a college player, oh yeah, I already know what he went through, this dude, this, that. And I never was giving that information to anybody. Yeah. So finally, in this last year, I said, you know what? I got a son, he's in sports, he's athletic, he's playing 4 different freaking sports. I said, you know what? Let me take this knowledge that I have, and not only for my son, but then obviously where I'm at in my town. I'm in a small little town. These people don't know anything. These coaches, these.
That's why I got on you the most.
People who are running these organizations, they think they know what the hell they're doing. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not coming in with my dick out and like yo, y'all don't know what the hell y'all doing. I'm showing that confidence that, listen, I don't have to be the loudest in the room, but I know what the fuck I know.
Well, June said it himself too. Like he said, there's many times that I could have sat in this meeting, this parent meeting, and shut the room down with my accolades, but I chose not.
And I was around that, and I'll be in these meetings, these coaches parents meetings, and I would sit there and I would just listen. I'm like, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And I didn't say anything. I kept it, but just recently now with everything with the times, and again, my son getting older, I gave him a little time to mature. He was my shout out. So he was my shout out last week. I gave what I was rocking with is because I've seen the maturity in him. And again, I credit that a lot to myself, because again, I let him learn on his own. I school him, I tell him things, but I've let him learn on his own, and he's starting to get it now. So I'm coaching my 6th grade team. We're not doing too well, but at the same time, I know my strengths. I'm focusing more on what I know my strengths are.
Have they gotten better from when they walked through the door with you?
So, quick little story. We had a practice where, so we have 2 teams. I'm coaching one team. Somebody else is coaching the other team, and everybody had COVID on the other team. So I wind up having to coach the whole team by myself. Usually it's both of us, and I let that coach lead because I'm just the assistant. And I started asking, I said, you know what? Fuck all of this plays and let's set a screen and
let's get back to the basics.
Let's get back to the basics. Right. And literally for 2 hours, the beginning of practice, I said, listen, kids, this is gonna be a boring practice. I have good news and I have bad news. I said, what you want first? They said the good news. I said, good news is we're not doing any running today because usually we have them running all over the place. So we're not doing any running. They were like, yeah. I said, the bad news is it's gonna be a boring ass practice. They were like, you should have seen all their faces.
They paused, right? That celebration went.
I said, we're gonna do fundamentals. I'm gonna teach you guys really how to play basketball. Right. So long story short, we get to the next game and one of my kids plays on the other team. And again, he's not one of the best kids. Actually, he was probably the least skilled kid. And he gets the ball at the key, and he gets it, and he head fakes. And mind you, before all of that, we must have had about 7 or 8 traveling calls where the kids was getting the ball and just running, and they was calling travel. Yeah. He gets the ball, does a perfect head fake. It was a drill I did for like 10 minutes. Head fakes, takes 2 dribbles, and shoots a jump shot. Bow! Everybody was looking. I was like, yeah, that was me.
I did that.
I taught him that in the last practice.
I did that.
And the coach looked at me like, oh, okay.
This week, Malik is rocking with Malik right now.
I'm rocking with me right now. No, but so I just had to throw that in. Again, you being here has actually made me feel a lot better about my decision where paying it forward. You know what I'm saying? Giving it back. Don't keep all this knowledge to yourself or to my son. Don't be selfish. Give it to these other kids. You know what I'm saying?
God forbid you both die today. Think about how much influence and how much knowledge is gone.
Yeah. That was never given to anybody.
It's just a wasted source of energy that's been here.
Yeah.
It's no longer available.
Yeah, but my initial, again, this got a little deep because this, near and dear to my heart.
It's a touchy subject.
This topic today. Right. But when I'm rocking with this week, guys, I stayed on topic. Okay. So y'all know when it comes to basketball, I'm not a team. Like I don't have a fan. I'm not a fan of one team. I live in New York. I like the Knicks. I want them to do well. But I'm not a Knick fanatic.
He's not a fan at all.
I'm a fan of players. I like good basketball. I like to root for players. I'm not a team guy. So what I'm rocking with is I'm proud of this one player who I did not like when he first came into the league. We talked about him earlier. And the improvement and the confidence that I've seen in him, RJ Barrett.
Wow.
Okay.
Shout out to RJ Barrett.
Please elaborate on that.
It kind of goes to the topic when we said Julius Randle. This is just my personal opinion. I feel Julius Randle was stunting RJ Barrett's growth.
I could see that, though.
Think about it. Think about the last...
Well, he was a rookie last year, too, though, right?
But specifically this year. Think about ever since Julius Randle got booed, have you noticed he's changed his game a little bit? He's actually now passing the ball.
A lot of it.
He's not taking as many shots, and who's benefiting from that?
RJ Barrett.
He's helped RJ Barrett's game. And RJ Barrett, instead of sitting back saying, "Yo, fuck this dude, he ain't passing me the ball," he stepped up to the plate.
What shows a testament to an individual who's realizing his opportunity and taking advantage of it.
So
playing his role until be the guy until you need to be the guy.
Exactly. Dude, you were a freaking third pick for you was a first round pick. You were a lottery pick.
Shit, of course the Knicks luck.
Play your role, do what you're supposed to be doing. I was never a fan of his game. I thought he was very too laid back and a little soft and
Canadian. Like Conway would say.
He has some holes in his game, but I'm sure he's going to work on it. But obviously, he's shown he's been working on his game. His shot is a lot more consistent.
I agree.
But not even that. He's taking he said, "Oh, you're going to give me the ball now, Julius? All right, I'm going to take advantage of this. I'm going to do it." And he's doing his thing. Shout out to RJ Barrett.
Wow. Okay. I would never think that would come out of him.
Okay.
I'm not a Knick hater. I just want them to do better, man.
Well, we all do. Okay. So with that being said, Conway, what are you rocking with this week?
So it's going to seem like it's left. But it's going to come back full circle.
So you pulling to me.
Time
you pulling
out.
to Malik.
Time out. Yo, when you have to set the stage, it already makes me worry.
So it's going to seem
because he gets on me all the time.
That's why I'm saying that.
I know. It's going to seem like it's left, but it's going to come back full circle.
Okay.
This week, I'm rocking with Cardi B.
Wow.
And like I said, it's going to seem left at first, but I'm going to bring it back full circle.
Please.
The reason why I'm fucking with Cardi B or rocking with Cardi B this particular week everybody. I shouldn't say everybody. If you don't know, there was a horrific fire that happened in the Bronx.
Yes, 19 people passed away.
Yeah,
it was
exactly.
Guys, if you look that up, anyone who's not over here on this coast or from New York in general,
yeah, man.
I would say, I don't know the exact date, but early January there was I think the largest fire in almost
over 30 years,
3 decades, and it claimed the lives of 19 people.
Yeah. Kids,
a lot of kids,
and it put a lot of people out in the streets.
Out of the 19, I want to say it was like 9 kids or something like that.
That's almost 50%.
So it was not only a lot of kids, but it was a lot of people not originally from this country, a lot of Africans.
Yes.
So Cardi B, Bronx native, stepped up and said, you know what? I'm gonna pay for not only the funerals, and I when I was looking this up, not only the funerals of the people who passed, but a lot of them, like I said, weren't originally from this country. So she is not only paying for the funerals of the people who were Americans and lived here or were from here originally, but paid for the flight of the bodies back
to the homeland, so they can get buried with their family.
Exactly.
Nice.
Exactly.
Wow.
So we were talking about this, how it comes back full circle. Bronx people paying it forward.
Wow.
So originally from the Bronx, as people know her backstory, humble beginnings, and she's at a platform right now where she can do something and do
Wow, I
well
didn't know she did that.
for people. So it's so beautiful, such a beautiful, touching story, because we all remember her early days in terms of like reality shows or whatever, and it just shows her maturity.
Red Cardi body.
Yeah, exactly.
Stripper pole.
Exactly. But it shows her maturation. It shows her thinking about not just her, but understanding where she came from, how these people are in a similar predicament in terms of not being in the best financial position and maybe not being able to afford. Funerals aren't cheap.
No, they're not.
At all.
They're not. And now you're talking about
19
but now
families.
you're also talking about, it's not like having your relative fly from South Carolina to New York or flying the body. They're also she's flying the bodies back to Africa.
West Africa, yeah.
Like, that is a cost.
Yeah.
And she covered the cost of the funerals, I'm assuming, and everything. Like, wow.
Exactly. So just in the whole spirit of the conversation about paying it forward.
Yeah, man. Wow.
Like I said, bringing it back full circle. So shout out Cardi B, man. Beautiful
BX,
gesture.
baby.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Beautiful gesture.
And it would normally, I'm not surprised that it would take somebody, again, from the Bronx to do something at a time where other inhabitants of the Bronx are going through something tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it just shows the resiliency of where we're from.
Yeah.
You know, and also how we know how to look out
Yeah.
for those that are like us, look like us, live like us.
Exactly.
You know, so I mean, wow, I did not know she did that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, beautiful gesture. And last but not least, we're gonna let our guest talk about what he's rocking with this particular week. So, Mr. Clarke.
We're gonna test your freestyle right now because we didn't
Off
prep.
the top of the dome?
We didn't prep.
the
We
dome,
did not
son.
prep.
Off the dome?
You know what we do here? We like the shock and awe. You know, we're good old Americans. We like the shock and awe system.
It's all spontaneous.
We like the
So,
spontaneous thing. So we threw this upon June in our last break. So I'm curious to see.
did.
Yeah, but you know what, though, brother? Knowing the testament and character who you are, being able to figure out something that you're rocking with shouldn't fall too far from the topic that we're looking at. So, June, what are you rocking with right now nowadays?
Well, I greatly appreciate that. Just sitting here, being in this realm, I'm rocking with, and we talked about, right, the fact that I was who I was at the time, quote unquote star, celebrity, person of my stature in a school setting, went on to college, did the same thing with that stature. I'm rocking with the fact that I've always stayed true to myself and who I was, to be able to have friends like you guys. Right?
Man.
Conway, I just met you, and ever since I met you, you've been standing up from day one, and the things that you do, how you carry yourself and your mannerisms. But the fact that these two young men here I've known for years.
12 years old. 12 years old.
Yeah, literally.
He was definitely very young. And the fact to hear you guys, how you speak about me and the things that I've done, I've never really realized it myself. And I wanted to allude to something that you said earlier, right? I could have been an asshole. I could have put my dick on the table, tell people whatever the case may be because I was a quote-unquote star. I never shitted on anybody.
Nope.
I never belittled anybody. That's what I really wanted to say. I never really belittled anybody because at the same token, I knew it was going to come around back in full circle.
Yeah, always
right?
does.
Karma's a bitch, man.
Karma's definitely a bitch. And once again, I treated the person next to me with the glasses on, the nerd, or the person who got the great straight A's in school. I treated that person the way I would treat somebody on my basketball team. I didn't treat anybody any differently. The fact that our friendship has evolved and came around full circle, and we're sitting here as grown men talking about life, talking about family, talking about finances, talking about moving into a better situation, talking about helping each other to get better jobs and do things that we love to do, and also open up your spot for me to make connections with different people in the area that you guys have made connections with. That's what's resonating with me right now. The fact that our friendship has evolved into so much more, and we getting to know, see a little better and doing different things. Like this has been a dope platform for me. I usually don't speak about myself. This is probably only the second podcast I've ever did talking about life experience and me as a player and things of that magnitude. I did what I did. Whatever the accolades, but it doesn't change me as a person. And the knowledge that I want to spit forward is, how can we help the next generation? How can we help families? How can we help kids? How can we build as a community? Because once again, you rarely see this, right?
Very rare.
Doesn't happen enough.
Us people, and I'm gonna say us, we shit on each other so that we can get ahead. Right? Whereas the other people help each other and they build a whole community together.
Networks.
Yeah, they build a whole community together and they stick together. We usually don't stick together. We usually don't do things for one another because we're always trying to outdo each other. And that's where we fall short. So I appreciate this platform. I appreciate our friendship. It's only going to grow and get better, and you know, the best to come.
Yes, sir.
Moving forward.
Same to you, brother.
Man, that's
beautiful.
That's a great thing. And again, it's been a pleasure having you on the platform with us, June. We're grateful that, you know, we're able to utilize these platforms that we created to tell the story of a lot of us and a lot of people who are tied to us directly, where the opportunity to have that story told isn't very well easily attainable.
That's true.
You know what I mean? And appreciate having you on here, being able to pour yourself out, and it's always better when you can do it in great company.
Absolutely.
You know, it's a little bit easier too, you know, because that term, you let your hair down a little bit, you know, it's a big thing. But you did say one thing before you close us out, Conway. The idea of sticking together with the people that you've come through, not many people could say that they still could talk to the same people they knew 20 years ago. It's very, very, very rare to say that. And to say that you can and that you do, and not only that, but you guys are utilizing opportunities to grow and expand and do more building for our people, whereas it's not something that's really common from where we come from.
That's a fact.
You know what I mean? And if anyone takes notes off of anything here today, on top of all the jewels you got, you should also know that it's important to build within the people that you have. And listen, I might be great at stirring concrete. Conway might be amazing being a bricklayer. Malik might be the phenomenal electrician, and June might be the best welder. Now we could put a building together.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And it's about utilizing the strengths of people around you and building towards something larger than what you currently have, because you can't get somewhere forward when you're pulling everybody back. It's really going to set you back 10 steps.
And where we coming from, we need to do more of that, man.
And the name of the game is chess, not checkers.
It's a marathon,
on top of each other or trying to get on top of each other. It's kind of like, you have a piece to play your part well. I have a piece. We all have a piece. Do it together, because collectively together we can be greater.
Voltron taught us that.
That's a whole fact,
right? Voltron taught us that growing up.
Silverhawks, they don't watch all that no more.
Silver.
They don't do that.
We got an episode in season 1. You got to listen to that. We talking about that. 80s babies. 80s babies.
Come on now.
Yeah, man.
Seriously. But I greatly appreciate the platform.
Yeah,
sir. Thank you for coming through.
Any different time that you got something you want to talk about, please feel free to run it by me.
No, we definitely will, bro. I think this is definitely another opportunity to bring you back again.
Yeah,
much appreciated.
Definitely like this.
Appreciate you coming through, brother. That brings us to the conclusion of this episode. We appreciate you joining us on this journey. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Spotify. You can find us on
anywhere that you stream your favorite podcast.
Yeah, man. Our link tree is on our Instagram page, man. Hit us up, check us out, post comments, get back to us. Let us know if we're totally off base. Let us know if like you rocking what we talking about. And in the words of Shirley Chisholm, if they don't give you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair. We out.
Peace.
Peace.
You have just listened to the SNA Live Experience. We want to thank you for tuning in with us. We'll be back with another episode.